in blood. In fact, if they cut in bloody, now activism you go to see. Because from young age, he don't carry am for head. From when he be president of the SUG, the University of Lagos, the military regime of General Sani Abacha, he puts them on their toes. Just imagine somebody in his early 20s make soldier they sweat, then they find them up and down. In fact, the presidential candidate of the party at the time call and come say, just, I want to pick your brain. Talk to me. What's going on? And he tell them the truth like John the Baptist. He said these people, they follow you up and down. And people, when they say, they go push you enter where no good though. He come out. Everything will concern Nigeria. Now, I mean, they carry for him back. From then till now, ladies and gentlemen, a man of many parts, a distinguished personality, lecturer, writer, activist, revolutionary, fighter, husband, lover, and by the special grace of God, incoming, His Excellency, the one and the only, Omoyele Sowore! You're welcome, Baba.
Thank you very much for having me once again.
All right.
It's a pleasure to see everybody again.
So I think a very good place to start. Let's just look at current events unfolding in Nigeria's political space.
Yes.
On the 2nd of April, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu visited, Jos, the Plateau State capital, and he met with victims and family members of the Angua-Rakuba attack that happened on Palm Sunday. The president declared that such will never happen again, and also ordered the installation of 5,000 CCTV to ensure security in Plateau State. Do you think that this visit by the president has reassured Nigerians that indeed the government is prioritizing security?
Ask the president when he went to Yewata, didn't he promise them the same thing? That this will never happen. This same Plateau, was it Yewata in
Benue State?
Benue State. He went. Wherever he went, halfway. And Benue and Plateau are boundary states. So people should just learn to understand that the president and his cabinet have run out of ideas. How did you know? If you install CCTV in Jos, ask them, the CCTV they said they were going to install in Abuja, what happened to the contract? Over $400 million, naira. I can't, maybe it was dollars or something. You remember the CCTV that was supposed to be installed in Abuja during El Rufai's time? What happened to it? And if you install CCTV in Jos, what are we going to be watching on it? How they are killing people? It's not CCTV. I'm big on technology, but the issue is not CCTV. The issue is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, who has failed completely at his duties. And what they just do whenever there is a tragedy of this proportion, you make a trip. You make all these promises. The terrorists or bandits or kidnappers, whatever you want to call them, depending on the nomenclature you are comfortable with, will be back again to do what they know how to do best, because there are no boots on the ground. There are no planes or drones in the air to track, pick intelligence, see the movement, and ensure that you prevent these things from happening in the first place. So the promises of a 5,000 CCTV is not going to help anybody. He knows very well. That's why we should also ask him, the people you met with at the airport, are you sure that they're the real victims, or they are members of your party recruited to come and represent the victims? But whomever he met, they are victims in this country. Yes. Victims of bad leadership.
All right.
I'd like to follow up. There's a clip that was going around, of what he said to them while at the visit. He said, I have 10 minutes to leave here.
Yes.
There's no light at the airport.
Mm.
And then everybody went ahead to clap after he made that speech. And a lot of people have been criticizing that speech. Most people in the country would think that the president is insensitive, but did that go overboard?
No, that's why I said everybody that is in that room is a victim of whatever has happened to them, which is Nigeria, including those who are suffering what we call the Stockholm Syndrome. Those are the people who clapped. They're in love with their oppressors. They don't even know it. It's a reaction that comes from a place of defeat, which most people have not accepted and admitted yet. So at the end, he knows that the people are not serious. There's nothing they can do. There's no responsibility. There's no accountability. And there's definitely no urgency attached to it. Otherwise, you'll not be telling the people that you can't be looking at your watch when you're talking about the death of 80 persons who have died. They haven't even buried them yet. And not only did he do that, I became his victim last night because he came back to Lagos and they kept us in the traffic for 30 minutes just for the man who did nothing just to cross the street. It's part of the problem we are talking about, leadership in the country. And no matter what you say about Nigeria, the number one issue with Nigeria today, yesterday, and historically is leadership. That is what Chinua Achebe said at that time, and it's still present today. It's still true till tomorrow.
I want to ask something along those lines. If leadership was a problem from 1960,
yes,
is it fair for us to blame the degeneration of the state of Nigeria on this present administration?
Oh, absolutely.
Because a lot of people would say that this generation is, this government is worse than the PDP government that was in power before Buhari took over. What is your take on that? And do you think any of these candidates could have done a better job? Is it Peter Obi or Atiku Abubakar?
I would have done a better job. I was a candidate in the last election. I could close my eyes and run this country better than any of these failed leaders. So to your question, the truth is that they didn't start today. Tinubu was a senator in 1992 in this country. Most people did not know. In the National Assembly, when Babangida was arranging a system of governance known as diarchy. He was the military head of state, and they put them there to help deceive the public that we were moving towards democracy, which wasn't happening. So they have been in the apprenticeship of destroying the nation known as Nigeria for a long time. Don't forget, in 1992, when Tinubu was a senator, I was the president of the University of Lagos Student Union. In 1992, when Atiku first ran to be president in Jos, this same Jos, I was a student union leader. Don't forget, in about 1983 or 84 or 85, when David Mark was the governor of Niger State, I was in secondary school. So I'm just giving you a trajectory of how they have come along and how they are responsible for the rot you're seeing. David Mark, who is now the chairman of ADC, of blessed memory, according to what happened yesterday, said it was not the right of Nigerians to use telephone. Yes, when he was Minister of Communication under Babangida. And when Abiola won June 12th election, David Mark was the one who boasted in the Armed Forces Council, headed by Babangida, that if they hand over power to Abiola, they will kill Babangida. This is David Mark. So I'm just giving you some historical context to why they are all responsible for it. They didn't start today. So Tinubu just didn't come from the woodworks to be president of Nigeria. He was governor of Lagos State for 8 years. He was senator in 1992 before they had disagreement within their political class, and one side, defeated the other. So they have always all been part of, and that is why I look at Nigerian people, especially young people, in the eyes and say, there's something wrong with you if all you can do is recycle the same failed people, and then you are complaining about the results. And there's a reason why in 2022, nobody could convince me that anybody who was a governor in Nigeria for 8 years should come back and fail you again. Even though you can package the person, no matter how well the person is packaged. I will ask you, sir, I want to see your result. And this is a question I ask whenever I go everywhere with them, because I had the opportunity, having run for the presidency twice, to meet several of these guys at close quarters. They have nothing to offer you. Nothing, that is what they call tabula rasa. They have nothing upstairs. The only thing they have is the clothes they are wearing most of the time. Nothing else. They have no ideas, they have no ideology, they have no conviction, but they are united by something, greed. And it is the greed that unites them that fails your national greed every 5 hours.
I want to ask you a
Yes.
question. I want to take you back because you are politically sound and you've been part of the Nigerian polity even if it is student union leadership. I want to take you back to 1983.
Yes.
When Muhammadu Buhari and Tunde Idiagmo were in power.
Yes.
And Tunde Idiagmo started a campaign that lasted up till now, the war against indiscipline. We still see little snippets of it, and we still have the environmental sanitation that was started then.
Yes.
Tunde Idiagmo and Muhammadu Buhari were on a course to sanitize Nigeria of corruption. By the time they came into power, we had 19 states, and out of the 19 states, there were 19 governors. 14 or 15 of them were in prison. Just coming out of government, they went straight to prison. Now, rumor has it, I can't confirm, that MK Abiola was part of the people that was behind the removal of Tunde Idiagmo. What is your take on that story? Secondly,
yes,
do you think if Idiagmo and Buhari had run their full term and implemented their harsh but seemingly working principles, Nigeria would have been on the trajectory towards a corruption-free state?
See, I love the question. And to answer you correctly, I was never a supporter of Abiola.
Why?
Yes. We were on the side of Fela. Yes.
Fela never liked Abiola.
Abiola. Like, the ITT thing was for us evergreen.
Generation that does not
Yes.
understand what
ITT is International Tif. That was a song. Tif, ITT. Obasanjo and Abiola, International Tif. So, where we came in was 1993, when an election was held, and all of us had been played by Babangida to the point that Babangida was referred to as Maradona. He just kept playing everybody. Even Charlie Boy, when his trade was still thriving, sang probably one of his only good track, 1990, where he sang, I'm criticizing him here because since then I've not seen him to become really creative, that he sang 1990. And the moment that record came alive, where his bus stop used to be, which I hope will be restored to him one day, even if not for any other reason, but the fact that he was creative at that spot, and we need to remember that history. I went to his house with Olusegun Mayegun, who was NAS president, and I said, great guy. I'm telling you that so that we knew that Abiola and Babangida were in cahoot against the Nigerian people. Let me make another revelation to you today. When Nelson Mandela came to the University of Lagos in 1992, I think that was when he came to visit Nigeria after he was released from prison. I was one of the students who drove Abiola out of the University of Lagos. He forgot his cap in the protest that we don't want to see him on campus. He was banned from campuses. NANS, that I was part of as a senator, because if you are president of a student union, you are a member of NANS as a senator, did not endorse the transition program. So we did not even vote during the 1993 election as student leaders. It was a taboo to campaign for Abiola or vote in that election because we knew and said, this election is not going to fulfill our democratic aspirations. Babangida was playing games with us. Don't forget, he had created two political parties. One of it was the Social Democratic Party and the National Republican Convention. And he described it arrogantly, say one will be a little bit to the left, the other will be a little bit to the right. And he went ahead and ensured that the candidates were candidates that almost were handpicked by him. Of course, Abiola was complicit in that program. And we said, we are not going to support Abiola. But the moment the election held, and to our surprise, was free and fair across the country. It was done under what they call option A4. You queue up behind the candidate of your choice. By noon, Nigeria had done an election that was the cheapest, the freest, and the most credible. Nobody could fault it. And we said to ourselves, well, we have come to a point where they shot themselves in the foot. We're going to have a transition program. We will take it from there because prior to the 1993 election, we were trying to conduct what they call a sovereign national conference. Of our own, it was led by Akaba Shoron, late night. I was the president of the NBA at that time, Femi Falana. But the military came and drove us away while we were planning that. And the reason for the Sovereign National Conference was to create a constitution for the Nigerian people, because we knew the military guys would leave behind a constitution that was not for the people. The source of the problematic Nigerian constitution today was the fact that Nigerian people never made a constitution. So the military imposed a constitution on Nigeria in 1999, to the point that by the time Obasanjo was being sworn in, there was not a copy of that constitution available anywhere. Go and ask John Owodo, who was Minister of Information at that time. There was not a photocopy available. The military wrote the constitution and imposed on Nigeria. But it was...
Wait, sorry. I know that people have said, they wrote the constitution. You are saying that there was no copy
available on the day Obasanjo was sworn in. You can
the 1999 constitution.
Of course, because it was the military that wrote it. They were in a hurry to hand over power. They were looting the country wherever they could loot. I'm talking about Abdul Salam Abubakar. And they forgot to print a copy of the constitution. So whatever was presented to Obasanjo on that day was a photocopy that John Owodo them arranged to go and do. Up until 1999, you can ask any constitutional lawyer, there were errors in Nigerian constitution because there was a copy and paste. And they forgot to delete the name of the US in one of the chapters where they copied it from.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, and we said we wanted a constitution that was created by the people. But they never, of course, allowed that. That was the point at which we changed gear to be with Abiola, to help change the military out of power, particularly Babangida, and then force Abiola to bring about the kind of, constitutional reforms that was necessary for Nigeria at that time. And Babangida, on June 27th, was high on drugs like hell. You see it on NTA. He couldn't even button up his military uniform and announce the annulment of the election.
So you're saying that he had to be off on mind-altering substances before he could make that?
There's no question about it. You can, when you're doing this show, you should go and get a copy of that video broadcast he did. You know that this guy couldn't have been a normal person with what he did that night.
Sorry, don't forget to answer the Tunde Diagbon.
The Tunde Diagbon question is this. If they were the real people they claimed they were just a fascist regime. And Nigerians have love for quick solutions. What was it that they brought about? Environmental sanitation. If you didn't cut the grass in front of your house, soldiers came and beat you up. They came to my village in Kiribo. I had never traveled out of the village. Came and lined up everybody in the village. I remember a 72-year-old man. They asked him, did you cut the grass in front of you? I said, yes. He went to his house. He saw it was clean. They said, how about your brother? I said, well, my brother had a mental problem. I'm not responsible for cleaning his house. If I go there, he might kill me. The soldier asked him, the man, he said, if your brother had a cocoa farm, will you not inherit it? They asked him to lie down and give him 12 strokes of cane in front of the entire village. It was just public humiliation of people. But if you thought Diagbon and Buhari had agenda or ideas, when Buhari came back, how come he did not sustain? No. You see, he came back with almost everybody that was with him. The guy who was in customs, well, they were Buhari boys. It's not John Momo, there's a Momo who used to be around in those days. A lot of all these Galadima who later left Buhari, they were all around in 1983. So what that must have taught you is to jettison the idea that because somebody had done something before, he had experience. Because otherwise, who would have been the most two experienced Nigerian leaders? Obasanjo. He came back in 1999. Look at the way he left your country. The experience was terrible. Buhari came back after how many years? 1983 to 2015. He brought back the same ideas. He actually introduced war against the discipline as soon as he came. But how and I want to answer that also critically, that you don't have leaders is anybody who is still doing environmental sanitation in 2026 in places like Lagos, where you say this is the 6th largest economy and you cannot clean your drainage. When I came to Lagos in 1986 for the first time, we had Festac. I was living in Festac. Festac was better than certain streets in London that I have been to after that.
In 1986?
86. Oh, wow. It had electric, it had traffic lights everywhere. They had places where children could play in Festac. Their roads were some of the best. They had sewage system between Festac and Mile 2 that Jack Hunley put in place. They had schools everywhere. They were building houses, what they call low-cost housing. That some of them are still available till today. And the workers were happy. They were spending little money. In fact, it was this backwards Buhari we are talking about that came and cancelled what should have been the railway system, what you call the intercity railway system that Jack Hunley was building, saying that it was too expensive. And you're telling me that if they were around, they would have done any better. They were just doing based on what they knew how to do. They understood the Nigerian people that they liked to be enslaved and to be maltreated. They did all the maltreatment they could do. And when it was time, Babangida came and drove them out. Let me tell you, when I was in detention in 2019 with Dasuki, the former NSA, I asked him, I said, you are the people who went and overthrew Buhari. What happened? We were both in detention. Now, don't forget, Buhari had waited for him, because the only thing that Buhari knew how to do is vengeance. Waited for him in 2015, after he had had him, as we say in Nigeria, in his mind since 1983. He told me something shocking about Buhari. He said when they jailed Buhari after they took over from him, they put him in a 3-bedroom apartment in Benin City in a barrack. He said Buhari did not go to the window to check what was outside. He said that's how wicked that man was. So I asked him, why did you remove him from power? Because Nigerians thought, he said Buhari had nothing upstairs. That the day they went to tell him that they are planning to overthrow the Shagari regime, they saw Buhari drinking Gary in Jos. He's under, he has a boxers. He said, General, we'll come to see you. I was wearing this undershirt they call white beater. So that was, for him, that was the point that we should have turned back. But they were looking for somebody that was acceptable to Nigerians. It wasn't Buhari that did the coup. It was Babangida and Abacha and Abiola that did the coup. But they needed to present a face that was acceptable to Nigerians. That was how Buhari, the so-called pristine military guy, disciplined military guy, was approached. And he said when he met him, he said, sir, we want to make you president. He said, what happened? Well, I'll do it, but you can't control me. He said, don't worry. And they said for the 2 years he was there, Buhari didn't really do anything. It was a day one that was running around based on his own abilities, mental and intellectual abilities. And that's the best they could come with. He said when Buhari was going to be removed, they went to him and he didn't argue with them. But there's a guy they call Jokolo in the military. He's now, I think Buhari also removed him as a traditional. When he left the army, he became a traditional ruler. But I think when Buhari came to power, they also removed him. His name is Jokolo. Jokolo was the one who went and burnt Fela's shrine. He's an erratic, I think he's still alive. So it was Jokolo that slapped Buhari when they went to take over power from him. And Buhari said, oh, you are the one who led these idiots to come. And Buhari had him in mind.
Since 1983.
Since 1983 until 2015. Dasuki was the NSA, the National Security Advisor to Jonathan. So when Buhari came, Dasuki left to go to the US. Buhari lured him back into Nigeria. He said, call him president. I don't have a cabinet yet. I need somebody to help me navigate through at least issues of national, I'm a national security person. So they bought him a ticket that came back. That was the end. Dasuki was in detention from 2015 and left with me the day I was released in 2019, December 24th. In fact, it was likely because of the pressure over my detention that they decided to use that opportunity to release him. So we had that conversation several times about, he said, they realized that the guy added nothing to governance. So they decided, and when they met him, it's the same way they met him to come and be president. They met him when they removed him. But somehow there has been this urban legend that it was Dasuki that slapped Buhari. He said, no, and if you know Dasuki very well, he's not the aggressive type of person. But there's a Jokolo. And I'm saying this all to let you know what I know a little bit about Nigeria's history. And to answer your question about why Nigeria exists, it's the same players. Just along the line, maybe they will change some of, the flanks and change the players in those. But it has been the same type of people that have been running Nigeria since 1960, practically, The Obasanjos you are seeing today, they were around during the Civil War. They fought the Civil War. But when they came back to Nigeria, the people who they claimed they didn't defeat in the Civil War, they were clapping for them. Obasanjo is more popular in the East than anybody. But they are the ones who went and killed people in the Civil War era. And I tell people, I'm not part of people that fought in the war. I was born in 1971. So you cannot recruit me to continue the hate. Because it never ended the war till today. It has not ended. Anybody who's lying to you that the Civil War ended, it just started from an active war and ended as a Cold War. But the fault lines are still there. That is why Nnamdi Kanu is in prison. And you don't have anywhere to put him. You have to put him in Sokoto prison just to show to the owners of Nigeria, here we are. We have come to deliver the boy who was trying to be foolish about the unity of the country to you. That's the symbolism of taking Nnamdi Kanu to Sokoto. Otherwise, there are several prisons that he would have been taken to.
I'd like to ask
Yes.
you mentioned earlier about results.
Yes.
That you can't take governors that have led for 8 years and put them back in the system.
Yes.
A week or two ago, if I can remember correctly, you went to Abia State.
Yes.
And
I was probably longer than a week ago. It was probably almost a month now.
He made rounds on the internet
Yes.
that you were criticizing the government,
Yes.
the government of Abia State.
Yes.
And a lot of people would say, why? Because, I'm from Abia State.
Yes.
I know where Abia State was and where it is now.
Yes.
And he's the most popular governor at this time.
Yes.
So people would like to know, or people have been saying,
Why?
That's self-righteous. Isn't that self-righteousness? And you think that nobody else does it better, it must be you. Even this person that we are saying that he's a good person, you are also saying, no, he's not a good person. Is he only you?
See, this is what I would tell you. If you have never experienced any kind of governance before, a mediocre will look like a magician to you. I was in Aba. Personally, they didn't tell me. And when we arrived at Aba, we went for a protest. See, for context, I'm friends with Alesoti. Go to Sahara Reporters, you see several of his articles. I used to personally publish his articles, and the articles were critical about governance. Because I knew Alesoti when he was working at the First Bank back then, and he was working to help Western Union. That's his role in First Bank. And they would come to the US, and I started Sahara Reporters at that time. I also had adverts from First Bank. So they would call all of us, including this Haitian musician, I forgot his name now. Wyclef. They would call all of us to a meeting because he was an ambassador to Western Union. So I saw Lesoti, and before I knew that Lesoti had risen and become the Diamond Bank MD. So we were friends. And when I was running for office in 2019, I slept in his house twice. So that's how close we were. But I used to tell him, even when he used to wake me up at 4 a.m. in the morning to publish his articles, I'll read the article. I say, oh, Alexoti, you are trying to become governor. You are criticizing these other governors. When you become governor, you better do well, oh. Otherwise, I will come after you personally. And he promised me he would. So, but to just fast forward, I was in Ariaria Market, which for me was a place I expected to see wonder. That is economic life wire of Aba. Yes. And Area Market to me just looked like a regular Jurassic Park. I was like, what happened? And I started asking questions right there in the market. I said, but OT was supposed to have completely turned around, at least Aba. I didn't see that. I didn't tell him I was coming because I don't want him to ask me to come and sleep at his place so that they would take me around. No, I wanted to see things for myself. And we did our protest. When we got to the protest ground, they had heard that I was involved in the protest. They brought soldiers to stop the protest. And I went to the soldiers and I said, I'm here for a protest for Nnamdi Kanu. You have to let us do it or there will be a problem. They had already arrested the guys who were doing the initial mobilization. The soldiers, out of respect, let us start. And we went, the protest took place largely within Area Market. So when you're entering the part of Area Market where these things, you must have seen in the video, there's a shopping mall built there. And that's all that I saw. I said, but OT is supposed to have transformed this place. Don't forget, and this is important for context, I have always been on the neck of Nigerian governors wherever you may be. In fact, I have a governor's tour on my Facebook page. I go to Gombe, Borno. In particular, I have been on the neck of Abia State governors because Orji Zokalu was a thief I caught in Potomac where he bought a house from Abia's money. It was me that published the story. And there was nothing he didn't try to do. He even asked me to come and visit him in that house, Potomac, when they were buying houses as soon as we were governors. Atiku also bought a house in Potomac until Atiku was driven out of the US and he had to sell the house. Yes, I went to interview him there. They were buying mansions. The former governor of Bayelsa State, Alamasseya, also bought a house with fake name, Audu. All of them, I did all the Potomac stories. So, and the reason I was doing that at that time is that these people are stealing monies meant for development to bring to the US to buy houses. The one that followed him, Theodore Orji, another despicable human being, and I'm not afraid to say that, I was the one who published the video of Theodore Orji with a chicken in his hand in his underwear when he was trying to, because he went to swear inside the shrine. I had the video, I published it. So when you're talking about Abia State, I have been on their neck for a long time. After Theodore Orji left, the one that I call Isi Slippers, Ikpeazu, the reason I call him Slippers, I said, for your 8 years in power, you only produce one Slippers, which he used to show that is how Abia is supposed to be governed. I was on his case. So you cannot tell me that I don't know anything about Aba. The one you are saying that, if you've seen Aba before, I've seen Aba before.
When did you go to Aba? Apart from this
2 weeks. I've been to Aba more I've been to Aba more recently than you have been there.
Sir.
No. When was the last time you were in Aba? Wait. When was the last time you were in Aba? When was the last time you were in Aba?
Earlier this year.
Okay. I am in Aba 3 weeks ago.
But what I'm trying to say to you, sorry, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
I was born in Aba.
Yes.
Right? I did my primary school in Aba. I did my secondary school in Omoyele.
Okay.
I did my university in Abia State University. So for the largest part of my life, I have been in Abia State.
Yes.
What I am saying is that the people of Abia have known suffering. And I understand if you say that mediocre, people will settle and rejoice for mediocre.
Exactly. That's my point.
Because they have been through hell. So if there's a beam of light, are you saying we should not celebrate the beam of light?
I've been through the hell with you.
So why would you still criticize somebody that is trying to make it better?
No. See, if you listen to me, I'm not trying to be defensive. I was even generous by saying that I saw some transformation. I said, but I'm a believer in total transformation.
Well, it can't happen speedily.
No. It can happen speedily. The reason is that the volume of money that was available to OT is more than almost 3 state governors combined together. I'm not excusing them. Tinubu is giving them money. Absolute money. That's how he's buying all these governors who claim they have moved to it's all about, it's a transactional situation. What I'm telling you is that I have expectations that are higher than yours. You can respect that. And it applies to my state. I come from Ondo State. We have a useless governor too. I call him out. You guys, I followed a copper in this Lagos who called Lagos smelly.
Yeah.
And they were after her. I followed her. I said, I went to her local government person, and she ran away. Why were they after her? Because she said Tinubu is incompetent, which is true. And the Lagos was smelling. They wanted to behead her. She's from Cross River State. Is anybody going to say that because they were born in Lagos, she has no right to say that she smelled a bad Lagos? I once fought this Fashola, because I'm just explaining so that you guys will understand. What you have seen is little compared to what I've seen. Fashola was a star governor in this Lagos state at the time. He went to this London School of Economics. I was actively Sahara reporter at that time. And everybody was praising him. And I said, Mr. Governor, the video is still on YouTube. You are said to be doing well in Lagos. I said, well, I just came from Lagos. Part of Lagos is deodorized. You're using deodorant. The other is ghettoized. He got upset. But he never recovered from that question. At the end of the day, do you guys still can stand up today and say Fashola transformed Lagos?
So,
no. Because to get here, if I'm coming to where you are, I know what I went through just to get here. And somebody will say that I cannot talk about Lagos. All of us are Nigerians. We are entitled to speak to the standards expected of our leaders. Who, you say, I'm not part of the people that will praise the governor for paying salaries. What do you expect? People work. You got to pay them.
Yeah.
I'm not, one of the questions that you don't even ask is that, what is Alex Oti's minimum wage? The Alex Oti you are talking about. What is the minimum wage of the workers?
What's his minimum wage?
I don't know. I'm asking you. You are the one who was born there. Exactly.
There was something you said that Tinubu, according to you, is buying all these governors.
Of course.
Can we throw some light on that? Because there was a video I watched of you saying most of the, I think, House of Rep members that came in on the Labour Party ticket have now
moved to. They didn't even go back to where they were coming from, because most of them are travelers from PDP and other parties. By the time they were migrating, as the migratory birds that they are, selfish people, they migrated to the APC.
How many governors are moving now, and how many governors do you think are receiving money from the president?
All of the governors are receiving money. You see, how you will understand the way Tinubu moves is that as he is in Lagos, most of the governors are already in Lagos. Whether they are in APC or the other, maybe practically only 4 governors are left that have not joined him. And I can tell you that those 4 governors are already with him, in principle. In fact, it might be the situation that he is the one who asked them not to join yet, so that they will look as if there is opposition in the country. For instance, when I criticize Oti, some people started saying, "Oh, Sowore is supporting Tinubu." And I say, which support are you talking about? Who is the number 1 supporter of Tinubu more than Alex Oti? Alex Oti and Tinubu. Oh, Alex Oti and Tinubu are closer than any of these APC governors.
Hey!
No,
yes.
But personal friendship is different from party.
No. If I'm personal friends with somebody, it's different from when the person is going anywhere, I'm following the person. He wants to go and kill somebody, you see me in his company. And one other thing I want to use in closing, not closing,
Can
but...
you defend this, sir?
Of course.
Are you saying he's aiding and abetting?
No. Alex Oti is... You can ask Alex Oti that I said it. I'll give you his number.
I'm asking you, sir.
Yeah. That I said that he's closer to Tinubu than most APC governors. Alex Oti is not opposed to Tinubu's presidency. He has said it, that he will not oppose him.
No, but you can.
No.
You can
No, he's
just not opposed.
No. He's not opposing him in saying that I will support his presidency. Soludo is supporting Tinubu. It's Abga. That's his candidate for the presidency. Tinubu is Alex Oti's candidate for the next election. Presidency. No, if he's not supporting Tinubu, is he supporting... Did you think he's supporting somebody else?
No.
Look at you.
You are shaking your head, so I think maybe you...
Okay.
Do you think Alex Oti is supporting anybody else? Alex Oti is Tinubu's campaign manager in Abia. Officially. I can tell you that.
Okay, she suggested, is Alex Oti indifferent?
You can be indifferent and say, I'm not supposed
He's not indifferent.
Why do you say so?
Because I have information that you don't have. But even the information that is available. The last visit of Tinubu to Lagos, he was visited by all the governors, mostly APC governors. The photo is still there. Oti was standing there. to visit him. Oti goes wherever Tinubu goes. Ideologically, they are all glued together. Oti cannot deny this. This is honest bunch. You want me to be honest? I'm telling you the truth.
All right, so Babashu, you have given us history of political leadership,
Yes.
especially from 1983, and you have spoken about Alex Oti, former governor Raji Fashola.
And I wanted to say something before I forget.
It's okay.
Now, have you guys now abandoned Obi as the best governor of the Southeast? Because that's what you used to say to us. Are you paying attention? So Obi is no longer the best governor that ever came out. It's now Alex Oti. So you have all agreed that Obi was mediocre.
Talking about
No, before Obi,
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
You have given us the history. You have also cited examples of, political office holders.
Yes.
You said you spoke to Fashola and told him half of Lagos is odorized, the other is
Deodorized and the rest is
the
ghettoized.
other is ghettoized.
Yeah.
You also spoke about the half transformation of Abia State under Alex Oti, and you say you believe in total transformation.
Yes. That's exactly what I said in the video.
Now,
Yes.
my question is,
And it's based on lived experience.
Yes.
I was in Aba,
my question is, when you speak about a public office holder,
Yes.
looking at the degeneration of Nigeria's political system, and then you can at least say somebody is doing half transformation
Yes.
and somebody half deodorized, half ghettoized.
Yes.
It means that of the system they met in place, they are at least making efforts. You spoke about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and governors having access to more funds now.
Yes.
If under his administration, governors have access to more funds, and these governors also have constitutional responsibility, do you think that the buck stops at his table? Do you think we should blame him if governors fail in their own responsibility? Because if he makes funds available to them and they are supposed to discharge their responsibility so that the citizens can benefit directly from them, don't you think he has to a considerable degree done his part?
No. You see, the reason is this. The president of Nigeria is some of the most powerful presidents in the world. It's almost unchecked power. And not only does he have a right or duty and responsibility to give them funds, he's got also the duty to, fiduciary duty to make sure that the funds are spent for what they are meant. That is the reason he has EFCC directly under his office. But anytime a governor is harassed by EFCC, just know that they want the governor to go to APC. That's what they are doing to the guy in Bauchi. It's the same judge that is trying me for calling you Tinubu a criminal that is trying his accountant general. So we know the reason. The moment he decides tomorrow to join APC, they will withdraw the charges against his accountant general.
Well, his sins will be forgiven.
They will be forgiven, according to your comrade uncle, Omoyele.
Your fellow comrade.
If there's anything that makes me uneasy, it's being called a comrade, because these guys have bastardized the word comrade. But that's a conversation for another symposium in the future. The point I am making is that Tinubu, for instance, made a decision through his attorney general to ask local government funds to be released directly to local government. Ask yourself what happened to it. He took a politically convenient position when they protested. And you cannot have development without releasing funds to local governments, because that is where the real governance is.
But funds are being released to them now.
No, it's still released through the governors. You see, if you don't know the mechanics of how they operate, if you're a governor loyal to them, the funds will come. What they'll do is that the governors will go and appoint local government chairman. And when the funds...
When elections are conducted...
Look, let me tell you, the worst electoral body in Nigeria are the state electoral commissions. They are the worst. If anybody were to suggest to me what we should do, even as bad as INEC is, I would still prefer INEC to conduct local government elections than state electoral commissions. Any state you go to conduct elections for local government, the results are ready before the elections are held. Yes, you can quote me anywhere, including in your own Abia, where OT cleared all the local government positions. Chairman,
the local government is supposed to be the government closest to the people.
Yes, through a party that is previously unknown to humanity, known as the ZLP, Zenith Labour Party. Have you ever heard about Zenith Labour Party? I'm sure you have. Yes. Zenith Labour Party is not a Mimiko. Mimiko is Labour Party. Yes. ZLP is owned by one guy known as Inwanyao, who's a friend of mine. Yes, the man has always wearing a baller hat. So they went with it OT. They did what they had to do. So this is the reason why these conversations are necessary. Deep, honest conversations about governance, about characteristics of your leaders or the people you call your leaders, your rulers. We must have very deep historical, contemporary conversation about performance. The reason why you are referring to, I told you, I was even generous by saying that it's half transformation. Because for me, transformation has to be total in the sense that I want to go to a local government in Abia State and find a secondary school that I can send my child to.
I want to ask you a question. You have said, and I wrote it down to be properly quoted. You said Peter Obi wants to change Nigeria, but he's in the company of questionable characters. One question. Second question is, should Obi have won the election? Sorry, I'm asking you 3 questions. Second
You have
question,
to remind me of this question. No, I'm older now.
Second question
Yes.
is easy to lump it together. The second question, did Obi really win the 2023 elections? Third question, if Obi had won the 2023 election, do you think he would have done better than what Tinubu is doing right now?
That was the reason I was supposed to be in 2022 and 2023, even when the whole country was saying, oh, he's better than, peanut butter. I said, look, how you would tell me what you did to Nigeria, you will show me what you did to your state when you were there for 8 years. And I've asked this question of all the people who support to be in this country. Nobody has been able to answer my question. Can you go and spend your next vacation in Anambra that will be left behind? Is there running water there? No. Did you build any schools that you can send your children to? The answer is no. They will tell you that you should go and verify. It was go and verify that took me to Abia. I've verified now. You all are upset. Because I am a person who is scientific in nature. Most people, and I keep saying this, don't know Obi more than I do. I knew Obi as far back as 2007 when he was governor of Anambra State. I was in the US and we were doing reporting on him so that his mandate would not be stolen from him by Chris Uba, the Uba brothers, who were Obasanjo's lackeys, the ones that arrested and detained Ngige. Yes, in 2003. You remember that? Yes, Chris and Andy Uba. So we fought for Obi to the point that, and you can ask Obi this if you find him, if his memory has not left him. When I first met Obi, was in front of Professor Chinua Achebe at Rhode Island in the US. He said to Achebe, he said, I've never met Sowore before, but if not for this guy and Sahara reporters, I wouldn't have been governor for 2 seasons. Because every time, they stole the election from him, and then they ensured that he was impeached, even when he was actively in office. But by the time we were done with following Obi through media, we discovered that the guy didn't do anything. Everything he did was substandard. You could never find any road that he constructed that has not been a road, that he didn't build any school. These things are not things that were told to me. These are things that I covered. And he's very good at propaganda, to the point that when we then turned against him as Sahara reporters, I'm saying it because when we found out we started reporting on all his shenanigans, he was very upset. There's a guy known as Valentin OBM. He's one of the most rabid propagandists there is. They were so upset with us. They went and printed posters in Aba, accusing me and Ndibe, who was a columnist with Sahara reporters, of being gay.
Hey.
And posted it all over Aba. I still have a copy of the posters. It was done by this Valentine OBM, but Obi was the one who greenlighted it. Because one thing most people don't know about Obi is that...
Are you saying that Peter Obi started a smear campaign?
Of course. Look, it was what he was doing even in Anambra. Anybody who was under him as governor would tell you, the Catholics, the Anglicans, they have a history of his way of, blackballing people. So, but we continued regardless until he went back, left APGA and joined the PDP and was working under Goodluck Jonathan as a special advisor. He was an economic advisor under Jonathan. So it's not like Obi left Anambra and went on vacation. He was still actively in government. In fact, at the time that Buhari came, Obi was the chairman of, I think, the stock exchange in Nigeria, I think in Lagos. So it was Buhari that kicked him out of that position. That was his last known position before he came back in 2022. I'm just telling you all these things so that you will understand that we are speaking from a place of knowledge and history. We know these people. I don't like to call myself a journalist because I get crashed into journalism, just like Daddy Freeze did for broadcasting. But, we all have tried in our own ways to change the face of broadcasting and journalism today, just because we're a little bit ahead of others in understanding where the world was headed.
Speaking about
three-pronged question.
Yes. So the question about whether he won the election,
Yes.
It is Obi who determines how he wanted to validate that. And when the election was over, if you go and check the interview I did with Ruben Abati on Arise TV, where you say, Sowore, how market? That was how he opened. He was trying to ridicule me. And I said to him, there was no election. So the idea of somebody winning does not even work. He said, are you going to the tribunal? I said, I'm not going to the tribunal to go and defend what I witnessed that did not happen. So Obi's people reached out to me and said, we have to fight. I said, yes. Because we were one of the parties that pulled out of the announcement that night. Until today, I'm convinced that had Obi taken the advice I gave them when they contacted me, we would have changed the course of history. The advice was that people should pour onto the streets and prevent INEC from announcing the result of an election that did not happen. But they decided that they don't want to protest. The only condition I gave in passing is that Obi must lead it. Because I'm not a mercenary, I'm not going to lead a protest for you. It's all of us, so that if we are getting killed, we understand that we're getting killed. You're not the first rich man who had to fight for his election. But he decided that he wants to go to the courts. And that is where you go and find out if you won or not. Of course, when they went to court, I told them, I'm not going to court. I don't believe in Nigerian judiciary as well. That's the truth. But they started also blackballing everybody. I own the judiciary. And I remember sitting down and for the first time laughing. I said, anybody that has looked at the Nigerian judiciary, his eyes will catch conjunctivitis. It's called Apollo. And that's what happened. So the route he took validated his conviction otherwise. That they told him in the at the Supreme Court that he didn't win the election. And he packed his things and left. What do you want to do? He's the one who went that route. And those are ways of, I have been opposed to this, and I say it, you cannot have 20 million people vote an election and wait for 7 judges to determine who won. That's wrong. And it's going to repeat itself again if we don't adopt a different method, because between the time the Supreme Court decided that case and now, Tinubu has appointed 11 Supreme Court justices, and they only need 7 to whitewash whatever they do next. And they've already started now. The judiciary already started. They started this time earlier than normal.
Obi supporters always believe that Obi would have done a better job should he have come in. That was part of the question.
No, I've said it several times. Obi is not different from Tinubu or Atiku. That's why he doesn't also mince word by calling them his senior brothers. They are the same. He doesn't, that is why I tell you, I was the first to tell most people that Obi's foray into the Labour Party was a rental arrangement. And then when the rent expires, they will move to another place. Has he not moved now finally to where he really belongs, where his senior brothers are at and junior ones at the ADC? If somebody was here on Honest Bunch in 2022 and he mentioned Obi and Malami, you guys will pull a pistol and shoot the person. So those are structures of criminality. How can you compare Obi with them? Where is Obi today? He's very ensconced and wrapped up in the embrace and warmth of the structures of criminality.
But in his response, he cited the example of our Lord Jesus Christ and his interactions with prostitutes and tax collectors.
Yes.
He says that he will change them.
Did Jesus Christ sleep with a prostitute?
He did it.
Okay, so
Never.
what are you talking about? Changing prostitutes and maintaining a dignified distance from them.
But understanding...
No, wait now. The only time Jesus Christ came close to a prostitute, they were trying to lynch the person. Right? Father, you are the father of our online church. So, and his intervention was, if any one of you haven't done this before, and everybody left. Jesus did not take the prostitute home. Obi took the prostitutes home and is in bed with the prostitutes.
But Babashu, if we look at Nigeria...
Even now you bring Bible, come inside this matter. Why are you running away?
No, before we go deep, if we look at the political setup of Nigeria,
yes,
you had people like Prince Vincent Ubula for saying the PDP will rule for a century and
60 years.
But in 20...
we are the ones who told them that it was a mirage.
Exactly.
And
you told them it was a mirage.
Yes.
And we saw a collision of political heavyweights.
Coalition, yes.
That came together.
You are right to call it a collusion.
No. That came together and kicked the PDP out of office.
Yes.
Now.
And that's the APC.
And the APC.
And you are proud of them now?
No, I'm saying if you have political heavyweights coming together now to say these people have not done well, that you have also agreed that the APC as a political party have not done well for the Nigerian people.
Yes.
And they want to work together. Don't you think all these people need all the support that they can get to kick them out of office?
You see, you mentioned earlier that there was a coalition in 2015.
Collusion.
A collusion.
Now, coalition, I want to...
But the fact is that what is lessons and experience for you? Is it not to learn not to make the same mistakes?
Were you part of that? Did you support the coalition?
Never. You see, the collusion. See?
No, coalition.
Yeah.
No, coalition.
So,
did you support the coalition?
No.
That video of you.
Yes.
One night, I think it was the night that they declared President Muhammadu Buhari as the winner of the election.
Yes.
You were in the midst of APC supporters. They were raising your hand. You were smiling. No, everyone was excited.
So, this is why I'm happy you raised the issue. In 2015, I was firmly a reporter, Sahara Reporters. Sahara Reporters, for the first time in the history of this country, declared the election results before INEC concluded announcement of results. Because we were getting election results from PDP, Situation Room, and APC. Because most of you don't understand the trajectory of history. I was coming from INEC, where they were declaring the election. And we had been told that Jonathan had called Buhari to concede halfway into the announcement. So I moved from INEC where we were monitoring. You will see that I have camera around me and a tag. The tag was given to me by INEC. And before we got to the place where the announcement was made, there was a major crisis. The Minister of Niger Delta at that time, Orubebe, had sat on the floor and wanted to scatter.
We will not take it.
We will not take it. So I arrived shortly after that, and Jonathan had called Buhari to concede. So I left the International Conference Center and started driving to the APC headquarters. Now, don't forget that Sahara Reporters had already broken the story that Buhari had won, which partially forced Jonathan to call Buhari. So I walked into the place with my camera and somebody just said, this is Sowore, publisher of Sahara Reporters. And they gathered around me. They said, wow. So I was celebrated.
With them.
I'm supposed to be crying for doing a great job, right? For me, it was the apogee of my job as a journalist, that you could break one of the biggest stories ever in the history of Nigeria. It was a moment that I appreciated that the platform that I created with a laptop got to that point in 2015. And they celebrated. They were like, this is Sowore. I was the one, don't forget, who uploaded the video on my page, on my YouTube, on Sahara Reporter's YouTube page. And I put it there, say, Dole, change it Dole, which was what they were shouting at that time, change by force in Hausa. Then Reno Omokri, who was your darling at that time, you people's darling, took the video and said, this is Sowore celebrating Buhari's election into office. And that was how the video was turned around to say I was celebrating Buhari. At that time, Reno Omokri was working with Jonathan. I was still working with Jonathan. This is your Reno. None of you knew that while Reno claimed he was working with Jonathan, he had already started working with Buhari, because Reno Omokri's first foray into Nigeria was facilitated by El Rufai. His first job at the presidency was to work with Atiku as vice president to Obasanjo. He was working with Garuba Shehu. Yes, they were sharing the same office. More news will come about that in the future. And El Rufai was the person who was his handler. But Reno, being who he is, had moved on to Jonathan because he always moves to places where his bread is buttered. So he was the one who was coordinating propaganda for them at that time. And I was their target because I declared the election before INEC did. That's what happened. The same thing you are celebrating that you are talking about happened to me in Ghana. I also went and covered the Ghanaian election. And when I went to the headquarters of the party that won at that time, it was the same experience with Nigeria. The ruling party lost to the opposition party. That's how that old man came. He defeated Mahama, who is now back in power. I was celebrated the same way because they were watching Sahara Reporters at that time. I was with Chegun Olo in Ghana. He would testify to this. We were celebrated the same way. But because there's no video to show that, I'm just telling you so that you would understand where the video came from. I was the one who personally uploaded the video saying these people were shouting, change Idole, because we were waiting for Buhari to come accept he's winning the election. Buhari didn't show up until I went to sleep. In fact, if I had arrived at venue earlier, they would have carried me on the shoulder, Dino Melaye and the rest of them. That night, Dino Melaye even invited me to his house with Joyce. Joyce is the person that Wike fought, who Akpabio, Joyce Nunes, who accused Akpabio of sexual harassment, the first woman in the Niger Delta who was doing high rep. They invited me. I told them I don't go to parties. If I'd arrived earlier, I would have met all of these Saraki as they were jubilating. What's the governor of Rotimi Amici? So, and the question I asked to close that chapter is, if you people hated the APC then, why are you in love with them now? That's the question. You hated them to the point that, Sowore was jubilating. Who do you think the people were in the APC room upstairs? I went upstairs too. I saw all of them. Malami, Saraki, Dino Melaye, all these people that you are now in ADC with were the people who brought Buhari to power. So if you hated Buhari, I'm telling you, if Buhari were still to be alive, all of you will be back. He will be the chairman of your political party by now. That's the hypocrisy that you all are about.
I'd like to ask.
Yes, please.
Many people that don't believe in you, the people that don't believe in you would cite an example of Sunday Igboho.
Yes.
They would say Sunday has been shouting, criticizing the Nigerian government.
Yoruba nation.
And just saying that this is not a good place to be. But right now, it seems like he's in bed with the same people he was criticizing. And when they look at you, they're like,
so why don't you say that about Obi?
But I'm asking you.
No, I'm just saying, no, we're having a conversation. The people, you are talking about Sunday Igboho. Sunday Igboho is actually even better. because of his limitations, which is not the conversation for discussion here. But what Sunday Igboho said was that he was sitting in his house one day and the Yoruba nation people, particularly in diaspora, came and said, "This is our dual flag." And being the person that he is, he took up the fight, and they started supporting him. But the reason you can't compare that with Maron case is that when did you know Sunday Igboho? You probably knew him 2 years ago, maybe 3 years, maximum 4 years ago. And he was asking for Yoruba nation based on what they asked him to do. If you go and watch my position when they started Yoruba nation, I said it with one guy called Mayegun Diary. You probably know him, who has also now jumped to Peter Obi from Yoruba nation to Peter Obi. I said to him, the Sunday Igboho struggle you are seeing is funded by Tinubu. Yes, because the problem at that time was that Tinubu was having issue with Buhari up north. They weren't going to accept him as a candidate. And he looked at it and said, I helped you guys to get to power. You guys don't want my candidacy. I'm going to tell the Yoruba people to leave. He started funding them. They have not denied it. So, Buhari, being who he is, came and tried to kill Sunday Igboho without informing the governor of Oyo State. They brought a special force or special forces from Abuja to come and kill Sunday Igboho. Sunday Igboho was in that house that day, but he was hiding. Before they came back, he had jumped the fence. Even when he was in Benin Republic, he had injuries that they were hiding from you. And he left that night. He left Nigeria that night. They wanted to kill him so that Tinubu will know that they are not playing. That's what happened. So Tinubu had to retreat because it was based on their own security intelligence that Tinubu was behind them. But they had already achieved what he wanted to achieve, which was to scare the Buhari people to know that he has the capacity to disrupt the country. And an average Northerner, with due respect to them, their issue is unity. If you want to appeal to the North, just say that unity, no wahala. Anybody that discusses anything other than unity is the enemy of the North. They don't play with that. This Nigeria unity is what is sacrosanct to the northern parts. It's the reason why Nnamdi Kanu is in prison. His offense is called a holy grail offense. You cannot talk to the average political class, particularly Northerners, that this country should be divided. That's it. But Tinubu he was able to strike fear in the heart of the Buharis of this world. They retreated. And that was how his candidacy was possible. I mean, in addition to other factors and strategies, but you can ask Mayegun, he will be listening to this, that what did I say when I came out of detention in 2020 on his show about Yoruba nation? And I never joined them. In fact, they used to mock me at that time that I'm jealous of Sunday Igboho and that Sunday Igboho is more popular than me. I'm calling for a revolution. Sunday Igboho is calling for Yoruba nation. Because I could see through. When Sunday Igboho was attacked, they killed everything in his house, including his cats. The DSS, killed some people, arrested the others. When his people were brought to court, I was the first and only person who went to the Federal High Court. DSS were there in front of the courtroom, covered their faces. I told them to get off. I went into the courtroom. It was that day that the Sunday Igboho people who were arrested were granted bail. I entered the court with force. And I did a live stream. For the first time, people saw Sunday Igboho's people who were arrested live that they seen. One of them is Lady K. I can't forget her. She was crying. But the interesting thing was that Lady K had accused me of being a softie because a police officer shot me in the thigh with a riot gun in Abuja. And she said, look at Sowore, the bullet could penetrate him. He started mocking me. When she was arrested, I stood with her and she got released eventually with the help of course, Pelumi, Olajengbesi, who was the lawyer to Sunday Igboho. I'm giving you all this because the facts are there. that the Yoruba nation agitation, and I know it's going to offend them, was a false flag brought together by Tinubu. And that is the reason why the moment Tinubu got to power, Sunday Igboho was let go. And the next thing he would do is to say nobody can campaign in the Southwest because Tinubu is his person.
From the idealist perspective,
Yes.
in my humble opinion, you are the best person to run Nigeria. I voted for you last election. I did a little bit of campaign for you.
They won't let you campaign for me.
Best of my ability.
They were harassing you.
They were harassing.
Yes,
and you are aware
I know. Yeah, they harass you totally. These people here, the obedience.
They came after me, but because my excuse was, you want somebody new. Peter Obi is not new. You want a youth. Sowore is 6 years older than me. Peter Obi is an elder, not a youth.
You look older.
I look older than you.
Yes.
Yes. Well, he's 6 years older than me.
We are all on the 5th floor.
But we're all on the 5th floor.
Now.
Actually.
Yes.
So, I see him as a contemporary. His ideas sound like what I want to hear. You understand? He has never been tainted by political office. In my humble opinion, the moment you are a local government councillor, they don't stain you.
Mm-hmm.
So in the idealist perspective, you are the best candidate, the youngest, the only youth, someone who has never been tainted or stained. But in the real world, you only got 30,000 votes.
No, that was the first time.
In 2019.
In 2019.
Sorry, 2023 was 50,000.
14,000 votes.
14,000.
Yes.
14,000.
Well, yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Now, my question now is, ideally, you are the best. And even they can't argue it. But in reality,
Looking at the numbers.
You need numbers. I see Peter Obi teaming up with other people because of these numbers. So that you don't get old before you get a shot at changing this country. Because I love your ideology. Don't you think maybe working with whoever of them you personally consider a lesser evil? Let me ask you, of all of them, is it Atiku, is it Obi, is it Tinubu? Which is Kwankwaso, Rotimi Amechi? Which of them do you consider a lesser evil that you could, what's that word you used, that the Holy Spirit gave you? Have a collusion with, so that you may fast track your appointment or selection or election into power, so that these amazing ideas that you have coming from legalizing Igbo and creating an industry out of it, all those brilliant ideas with regards to security, with regards to production, with regards to governance, can be made manifest. I will still vote for you, and they've been yapping me say my vote is a lost vote. No problem. But can my vote count?
Yes. So you cannot solve a problem by fighting against the solution that the problem that came from that can solve the problem. And you are mentioning all these people simply because of helplessness. Yes. We have gotten to a point where we have agreed that we're helpless. We can't get out of this circle without some kind of compromise. Yes. But it's the compromise that got us here in the first place. The compromises that our fathers made brought about a civil war in this country. These compromises that were made brought about the 1979 election where Awolowo won and somebody else was announced, and a new mathematical calculation was introduced, what they call the 12 to 3rd. You can go and look at the newspapers of these days and see who won the election. It's the same compromises that people made that led to the annulment of the June 12th election. Because people didn't ask, who were the people who were championing the annulment of the election? They were likely people from the Southwest.
People from the Southwest?
Yes, all these Obas. The Oni of Ife, not the current one, was part of Dia, who is now late, was the deputy to Abacha. Dia was the one that is sent to go to the civil society to convince them that Abacha is not a bad person. So they should calm down and then they will hand over to Abiola. The first cabinet Abacha used was what Abiola typically would have used had he won the election, had he been sworn in as president of Nigeria in 1993. So you want to go back to making this compromise, it's because of helplessness. I'm not trying to become the president of Nigeria so as to put Nigeria within the same time swipe that made me to rebel against the Nigerian state as it is. No. I would rather that I don't become president. If I have to become president and bring about the corrupt people that destroyed Nigeria. You're mentioning Amechi. Amechi is the guy who couldn't complete a railway station in Rivers. Right? Peter Obi, you know his story already. We don't have to mention his name. That one is already well documented. Atiku was vice president of this country when ASU went on strike. And instead of solving the problem, they issued themselves license to build universities, private universities. His own is ATBU in Yola. Obasanjo created what they call Bell University while ASU was on strike. But it was the second finished job. Obasanjo was the one who stopped the kind of educational sector that would have produced some of the best doctors, lawyers, engineers, electricians, pilots in 1979, with 1977, which led to what they call Ali Must Go. Do you know who became Obasanjo's PDP chairman when they came with PDP? The same Ali. That guy who was chairman of PDP. That is Ali Must, the person that students were asking to go in 1977. He was the minister, I think he was the commissioner for education under the Obasanjo regime. What they meant on ground at the University of Lagos, according to the story we met on ground, if students went to class before they came back, their beds were made. All they just did was come back and study. If they go to the restaurant, they were given what they call balanced ration diet so that they don't have kwashiorkor and forget to study. They had water running from every side. We still met water at the University of Lagos. In fact, my room had a jacuzzi in Jaja Hall.
Your room had a jacuzzi?
Yes, it's still, I'm sure it's still there. As the student union president, I had a jacuzzi. My room is in Jaja Hall and it's a penthouse on the right side. They had a jacuzzi. And water will be running from because there's always busted pipe when they started not maintaining everything. The DSS used to refer to my room as Water Palace. That is the code name for my room in Jaja. I'm not talking about 1952. This is 1993, 1994, because I was in the University of Lagos in 1994.
This same Jaja Hall? Jaja
Hall in the University of Lagos. Anybody who is watching me can go and check. My room, I had 2 rooms as the president of the student union. It's a penthouse. I had, a rooftop where I could study or even just take fresh air at night. And next to it was a bathroom with jacuzzi. Student union president, University of Lagos. So they destroyed it. By the time Obasanjo said, no, education is not supposed to be that expensive. Let's get it. It is the reason. Part of why they did it was because of the riot. The Ali Must Go riot. These people, they are spoiled kids. That is why till tomorrow, I've never met Obasanjo one-on-one. I can't forgive him. Yes. I've never met him in person. Never met him. We have never crossed paths before. Because that's idea that you destroy the education of a country because of your personal ego is the reason why we have substandard education. Imagine if Nigeria, like Saudi Arabia, still has hostels till today where you go to class and you come back and your bed is made, even if it is a best Western type of accommodation. We will still be producing some of the best because there's nothing like studying under conditions that environmental. But they destroyed that. The universities now no longer have any of that. University of Lagos, if you go there now, it's dilapidated. They are building in it. It's not even planned anymore. You know? So you cannot expect me to turn around and be in bed with the same people simply because I want to be president. If I jump in bed with them, I become president, they will kill the presidency the next day. Yes. Because that's their expertise. If you don't do what they want, they'll kill you.
Do you think Tinubu is suffering from this?
No. Tinubu came to office with his own cabinet from Lagos. And he recruited more people from across the country, of course, who were his loyalists. What Tinubu is doing now is what Tinubu has been doing his entire life. He goes around with a bunch of people whose interests align. That's why they call him strategist. He doesn't know any strategy. The only strategy is how to keep loyalists happy so that they keep on kissing up to you, they kiss your ring, and he'll make them as happy as they would. And he deployed money a lot. And what he then does, or he has been doing, is Tinubu is the kind of tortoise story that my father used to tell us, that he has 6 kids and 5, they had the father and 5 other kids, 6, and they had 5 bowls of akara. And the tortoise looked at it and said, if I give all my children 1 each, I'll die of hunger. They will eat, no doubt. So he distributed all the 5 to them. And they wanted to say, no, don't eat yet. Give me half of the men. And at the end of the day, he ate more than every other person. That's Tinubu's style of politicking. So Tinubu did Abuja with the aim of going to fix Nigeria. No. He went to Abuja with the mentality of how he ran Lagos, which was to tax everybody, out of existence, take the money and use it to satisfy the interests of his class, his group, his circle. Now, who is the circle? The Shaguris and Shaguris of this world. Just the first thing he did is, for the masses, no subsidy again. For Shaguri, I'm giving you a contract, open-ended. Just spend whatever you want to spend. But just build a bridge to nowhere. That's what they call the Lagos Calabar.
Yes.
Coastal Highway.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you that question.
Well, you people
now that you're here,
yes.
I want to usher you into that subject.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, do you think that the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway is a misappropriation of fund or a total waste?
It's complete misappropriation of funds, because the funds are not even appropriated for in the first place.
What do you mean?
It's not in your budget. What they call appropriation is funding that you designed and you put in a budget and is passed into law. Every budget is a law. Do you know that? Mm-hmm. Yes. So this one was not part of a law. It was a lawless appropriation. And that's what they call misappropriation. And I drove on it today. And I'm wondering, if I'm constructing a highway from here to Calabar, by the way, it was even my idea in 2019, but my own was going to start from Benin Republic all the way to Calabar.
They stole your idea.
They've always been stealing my ideas, but they can't implement it. You look at the Lagos-Calabar expressway that they're building, very narrow gauge,
It's not wide enough.
We drove from that place today, and basically, their agenda, when they started that road, it wasn't a Lagos-Calabar highway. It was meant to be a highway from the export zone that they built, which is owned by them, but Lagos funded it, to their Bundugu, they call the Eco-Atlantic.
You mentioned, we earlier mentioned misappropriation of funds, and you said a budget is a law.
Yes.
And we live in a country where there are a lot of things that could easily be passed into law.
Yes.
But because it is in the interest of poor Nigerians, they drag and drag and drag, and it might never see the light of day.
Of course.
But a few days ago, or almost a week ago, the president of the nation asked for a loan. And in less than 4 hours, it was approved and stamped into law. What do you have to say about this?
You've already said it. Anything that is in their own, and that's who Tinubu is. Tinubu is about Tinubu. His economic system is referred to as Tinubu-nomics. I don't know if you guys know that.
That's a new word.
Yeah. His economic system is about him. And they call it, in Abuja, they call it Tinubu-nomics. Because every theory in that economy is about him, his family. You know, Tinubu is the first Nigerian president that has an office for a first lady, first son, first daughter, and a first in-law.
First in-law?
Yes. The in-law is the minister of, I think, Federal Housing Authority.
Who is the in-law?
It's a guy from Ekiti State, one of his daughters, married to. Sheyi is the son. He has an office. His office is bigger than that of a governor. I'm sure his budget is bigger than that of a governor. I'm talking about Sheyi. I'm not joking.
What's your take on the City Boy movement?
The City Boy movement is a movement of ragamuffins who are feeding off of Sheyi's palm. There's nothing more. It's just an association of friends for Sheyi. Remember, there was a time they declared that they will have a youth conference in this country. I was the one who said it's a joke. So these guys just toy with you. You know, Nigeria for them is a place for social experimentation. So they know how to distract you, but their goal is not distracted, which is to take over your country and use it to help themselves. So everything you saw they were doing under Jonathan was repeated by Buhari. Everything that Buhari repeated, Tinubu is even doing worse. Each of these regimes, that's why we all keep saying that they get worse from person to person, from regime to regime, from cabinet to cabinet. These guys don't care about you. And unfortunately, it looks like we no longer care about ourselves anymore. Yes, we've been knobbed. So it's so sad.
But then that leads me to asking you this question.
Yes.
Last week, there was a viral clip of myself, shouting and saying, Imams, let's come out, let's do this, let's do that. And people were like, we're never serious. Why are you calling people to go out? At this point, it looks like Nigerians are numb, like we said.
Yeah. But nobody should take that for granted.
People are frustrated.
Yeah.
No light, no water.
Mm-hmm.
People, even at the what's it called? The Aso Rock has a solar system now, which means they don't even care about you.
They've already had. I don't know why people are talking about Aso Rock. Aso Rock has never been on the national grid.
But what do you?
Some of the biggest.
What should Nigerians do?
Some of the biggest generators in Nigeria are based in Aso Rock. These guys don't. Their lights don't go off. And what they do is to have backup. What you call backup at home is all these batteries, solar panels. You combine. Aso Rock was built by Julius Berger, and they imported everything that needed to be put there since Buhari's Babangeda's time. So when people start saying, "Oh, the Aso Rock is no longer national," what do you expect them to do? To be using torchlights to run their lives?
But what should?
Yeah, exactly. These guys don't.
What should we
You've
do?
passed that stage. Look, if you go to the US, you can go to the front of the White House. And you can even enter the White House on Wednesdays. I don't know if they still allow people to enter the place now. When is it that you get to Aso? Do you even know where, apart from what you see on TV, do you know where Aso Rock is located? They just tell you this is Aso Rock. But have you ever seen, it's like a fortress. So when people build fortresses, they don't build them without electricity, because even the gate of Aso Rock is probably opened with electricity. So you expect them not to have electricity 24/7. Of course.
At this point,
Yeah. So, but to your question about Nigerians should revolt, that's the solution.
She raised something.
No, but that
No,
freeze
but
with
he's not done.
What does it mean
What does
to
it
say
mean to
revolt?
revolt?
Yes.
Revolt.
Revolt is that everybody come together and say, one day, enough is enough. We are not moving forward except our objective conditions are changed, and this is our position. What I mean by revolt, in case you want me to break it down, is like NSAS one day or several days across the country.
But people would argue that it's been done before and they were killing.
It wasn't done before on the scale that can bring about the change we are looking for.
What sort of scale is that?
The
Loss
scale
of lives,
is-
destruction.
No, you are
Because
losing.
it's always hijacked. That's
No,
my
no, no,
problem
no.
with
You say
government.
these are the theories that your oppressors push to you. Yeah, yes, the protest is going to be hijacked. In contemporary times, every protest that was heard in this country was hijacked by the government.
By the government.
Yes. NSAS, do you know when they started attacking people? And do you remember the guy who was carrying cutlass in Ikeja? Is that the
Where's he right now, though?
It's probably been promoted to Abuja. You know, it's probably somewhere in Abuja. Maybe they've given him a ministry or they've given him a toll gate to manage, because that's how they operate. So it is them who brought those guys in Lagos official buses to NSAS. So who hijacked it? When the army went and killed people, was that hijacked? Peaceful protests, people were waving flags. What I'm saying is that you have to have a scale that is beyond their power.
So you're saying
Like
Nigerians are not angry enough?
They are not. I told you, and I've said this several times, that the day after October 20th was the day Nigerians should have poured more onto the streets. The military had already beaten a retreat. The world was paying attention. In fact, some TV stations were already heading to Nigeria. And then everybody disappeared the next day. And the reason was that a mistake was made. You want to fight government, you want to change government, you want to change your objective condition. You are saying that it's a leaderless movement. Which movement is leaderless? No. There's no.
There are examples where some of the leaders have become compromised.
But that's what I wanted to tell you. NSAS had leaders. They were negotiating with them.
Government was negotiating with them.
Yes. There was a Zoom meeting that was happening between Aisha, them, even I think Faz was there. They were meeting with Lumelu, Dangote. They had leaders. The problem with NSAS was that government didn't want NSAS to be led by somebody they cannot control. It's the reason why they went and brought Naira Marley. Yes, Naira Marley was the first person, the PRO, this Umba, who was PRO police, he had the first Instagram live with Naira Marley. They wanted to choose Naira Marley as the leader because so many people accidentally thought that because Naira Marley was wearing his pants without belt, he's a revolutionary. So, but when didn't that work? People said, no, that's not our leader. They went and brought Davido. Yes, brought Davido to Abuja to meet with the IG. You guys remember that?
The video where he was saying those.
Yes, and when he got there, before he got upstairs, they were telling him that, we want to investigate you for murder of one of your aides.
For real?
And by the time he got upstairs, he said, no, I didn't come to Abuja to protest, though. I met Davido. We were in NSAS together. I was attending every NSAS. When he saw me, he went the other way. He said, no, Sowore is going to hijack NSAS. How can I hijack an NSAS that I was the one who started in Abuja? In fact, I keep saying it, and no one of them have ever disputed. I was the one who first tweeted about NSAS and invited everybody. I then personally invited most of them. I reached out to Faz through his father. So when I was doing Abuja, Faz was doing with Runtown in Lagos. We're the first, we're in Abuja, in front of the police headquarters. We're confronting the police. They were also doing at Zone 2 here. I was the one who called Macaroni. I got all their numbers. At that time, don't forget, even Tiwa Savage was involved. So, and what's this music producer, the popular one, Don Jazzy? But the DSS had called them to a meeting and warned them when Tiwa Savage was tweeting that we are tired. You remember? They intimidated them. They called them to a meeting, intimidated them, so they pulled back. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the spirit is still there, and that's what I want to tell them, that you should not take for granted. This country can rise at any time, with or without much mobilization, because people have had it up to here.
I want to raise something.
Yeah.
She raised a question. She said, one of the reasons why nobody's on the streets is because our pastors, who moved against Jonathan that time, they marched against Jonathan. All of a sudden now, they are preaching from the comforts of their pulpits and their private jets and with their security and all that. Do you think our religious leaders are in bed with our government, or do you think, especially our Christian daddy Jews, do you think they are in bed with the government.
Please mention imams as well, because
See,
Now imams too.
let,
But,
let me,
you know,
okay.
how many imams do we know? We know all the Jews.
Yeah.
Maybe Lagos has 1 or 2 imams. My street alone has like 5 Jews.
So,
what is your take on that?
The question is not if the daddy Jews or mommy Jews are in bed with the government. The question is religion.
Let's go there.
Yes. And religion, on the scale that is practiced in Nigeria, is a Kool-Aid. It's meant to numb people out of political consciousness. It's meant to make you feel that there's hope where there's no hope. What religion sells to Nigerians is not anointing oil, it's not prayers, it's not miracles, which are fake, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, it sells hope of what doesn't exist to you. That is the most important offering of religion in Nigeria. And it doesn't matter whether it is Christianity or Islam, and I know you guys are going to come after me, combine together, or even those who don't worship anything. Is a hysteria that's created to create an opportunity of a false feeling that somehow you are going to get something that's not going to come to you. Nigeria is the only place where a pastor, well-known, well so-called respected, we call a crusade, arrange fake miracles, and pack the crushes in large numbers and hold it and said, we brought 5,000 people out today, and 3,000 of them were blind, they can now see. 3,000 of them were lame, they can now walk. And we don't ask, can you please accompany us to the house of one of the people you healed? The man, Dunamis, I met him twice. On one occasion, I used to hear that he was radical a bit when I was in detention. When I came, I arranged to meet him. When I walked into his office, he said, Mr. Sowore, have you accepted Christ into your life? I said, oh, yes, several times. He said, but Jesus needed. I said, no, Jesus don't need me. Jesus is old. It's 2,000 years ago. He's not going to need somebody like me. Jesus has decided that he's not even coming back anymore. How can you say that?
How can you say that?
He took me to his hall. That is dome. So this is where everything happens. Best musical equipment. I came back to his office. I said, sir, you told me you're a doctor. He said, yes. Your wife is a doctor too? He said, yes. We're doctors. We used to practice in the US. He talks fast. I said, sir, if this place was a hospital, you'll be saving more people.
But you didn't lie.
He said to me, you need deliverance. I told him, it was me and him. I said, sir, I think you are the one who needs deliverance. And he asked me to leave. Then I said to him, well, I came in company of some people. They would like to see you. I would feel bad if we just ended this. So he said, hey, bring them out. Everything was preppy. If he's walking into his office, everybody kneels down. It doesn't matter whether he walks back and forth. I was the only person who was there. Well, I wonder why you kneeling down for him. What has he done, But, they're operating kingdoms. And they are the king in those kingdoms. And they're also the god in those places. I have said it, and I know it's going to be controversial. A Nigerian religious person is the one who invented God.
Thank you.
And the God they invented does whatever he wants. If he says the God should go and sleep, the God will sleep. If he said the God should hang around, the God will hang around. The only way anybody can convince me that these people, therefore, are not in bed with the government is for them to rise up using their own people. The religion that we have here, Christianity, that we are using to number people, is the same religion that the Martin Luther Kings of this world used to liberate blacks. It's the same Bible, But Nigerian pastors and Jews, you guys read what I call highlighted part of the Bible,
Absolutely.
Yes, they have already highlighted it. They just read, But let me tell you, if religion is not meant to nub you, Why do you need to carry a Bible to a pastor to interpret to you when you can read it at home? You know, I read the Bible twice before. And by the time I got to the end of Genesis, I knew that this thing was written by one King James because it was tailored to just give you the contradictions that you can pick out. You know, you can, from Genesis, you could just tell that, you know, some smart guy wrote this, you know, and that has been my position. But everything that I'm telling you, nobody wants to hear because that's some multi-billion-dollar industry right there. So the headsmen in Nigeria are two. The headsmen who rear cows and the headsmen who rear people.
On marble.
Well, now that we're
Yes.
in religion,
And both of them will kill you if you go near their subjects.
I can speak from
Yes.
experience for that.
and I want to follow up. When that clip of mine went viral last week, the pastor came out to tweet, or so I saw what he said.
Yeah.
And he said that the reason that pastors will not come out, do you want pastors to come out? Because now a pastor is going to lead a protest. And what if they kill people? People are going to turn it around and start blaming the pastor that he brought out a congregation for them to get killed.
But,
What do you think about that?
but
And I have another question.
Pastor Bakari led people in 2012 occupy Nigeria. So how come nobody was killed? And I'll tell you, more people die in those churches than are killed by the police every year.
How?
From drinking Kool-Aid. What is Kool-Aid? You are sick and somebody knows you have cancer. He prevents you from getting proper treatment. He starts giving you water, anointing oil, your coconut water, things that you drank before that didn't solve your problem. You die. Do you know how many people die in churches every year as a result of the religious practices we do? More people die than are killed by police during protests or soldiers during protests. I'm not saying that killing of people at protests is, but if we are to do investigation about what these pastors are doing in there, and there's no pastor in Nigeria, and I'll say this categorically, who is sick, who drinks anointing oil. And anointing oil is Goya, made by Italians and probably Palestinians. Those people don't even know Jesus. So, but you go and buy their oil and you put it on a handkerchief and you throw it at people and they start falling under what they call falling under anointing, which is one of the greatest scams ever invented by humans. It's just hypnosis. And if you want to learn how to hypnotize people, you can do it on YouTube. You don't have to go to a seminary.
Okay. Still on religion.
Yes.
In Anambra State, Governor Soludo has been demolishing
Shrines.
Yes.
you know. And I mean, whether we like it or not, there are people who are traditionalists.
African traditional.
Yes.
Who are African traditionalists.
Yes.
So what do you have to say about what the governor of Anambra State is doing, demolishing shrines, while he's not demolishing mosques and churches?
Your Anambra State governor is a regular hypocrite, right? It was in Anambra that the Dunamis pastor was holding crushes in large numbers after his crusade. Soludo himself, who is supposedly a scientist, was there to attend the crusade for politically convenient reasons. Soludo knew, or he could tell that after the crusade, nobody was healed because he's the governor of the state. He's the chief security officer of Anambra State. Soludo is the most important person if there is judgment day. Soludo will be the person brought by God to come and testify against pastor of the Dunamis Geo, what's his name, Neche, to say, you bear false witness. So for Soludo to then turn around and start demolishing places of worship, they're not shrines. Don't call them shrines.
Okay.
They are places of worship for people who practice traditional religion. That is their own place of worship. But they will not demolish churches or mosques because it's not politically correct to do so. Don't forget, I just told you that religion is a multi-billion-dollar industry. I think it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry at this point. And one of the richest countries in the world is the smallest, the Vatican. Rome. The Vatican is not even like a country with a capital, practically. It's just the Catholic Church, one of the richest. And research will tell you the reason they are rich is because they control a vast religious empire. And what do they sell? Like I said, they just sell hope. They're not selling oil. They're not producing aeroplanes. They're not producing warplanes. They just send their people around the world to go and tell you that everything will be all right, and you pay for it. When I was a child, a father used to come to our village, and they come to every village, and they will rise up in church after Catholic church, and say, "Da kopo from father, kofi tumo toreshe." Everybody will say, "Amen." Go and give money to father. If you collect 1 kobo from 1 billion people, you'll be richer than the people you are collecting the money from. But I'll give it to the Catholic Church, in all fairness, that at least they built schools that we attended.
And even Jews attended.
The Jews attended Roman Catholic Church. They attended the Methodist Church. John Wesley, they have university. But the Jews in Nigeria would never build a primary school that the children of their members can attend. None. There was a cousin of mine, Olo, the guy who does Objective. I met him closely in 2000. We're coming from Ondo State, and he said he's going for Holy Ghost convention. And I said I should drop you in front of Redeem. And he was trying to go to University of Lagos at that time. And I said, if you are already a higher pastor, I think he was an assistant zonal pastor in Ota at that time. I said, why do you want to go to him? Like, you have a Redeemed University. He said, no, Redeemed University is not affiliated with the Redeemed Church. We can't afford it. The same thing with Covenant University. You build it, you ask people to come to church, you go and drive them from Ajegunle with all those Holy Ghost buses. But their children cannot go to Covenant University. It's the children of sinners that ended up going to your university. Okay. Most of these children that attend Covenant University are children of Alhajis. They are the people who are stealing money in Abuja. They send their children there. The people who come to church religiously contribute whenever you say, bring your half kobo, this thing. Their children can't go to school. You can't. Occasionally, maybe, they would then do charity and say, well, we gave scholarship to the children of our church members, and here they are doctors. No! You should sell the jet. Yes, because I know how much it costs to even park the jet per night if you travel to Europe. You are flying around in jet, you have helicopter, you are saying you are blessed. Your members cannot ride bicycles, so you are the one who still bring them. Do you know the funniest thing about these pastors, Jews? It is the school buses in America that they use in taking children to good schools that they bring to Nigeria and repaint and put a dove on it to bring poor people to church. Do you know that? Those buses you see on Sunday that are roaming the streets of Lagos, they are school buses in America for school children to take them to school. But when it gets here, they use it to take poor people to church and back. Why don't they convert them to school buses? So that if you're a member of Redeem, we come and take you with the Holy Ghost bus on Sunday. The bus should return to take your children to Covenant Primary School, Covenant Crèche, Covenant Nursery School. The same way we transported you to church on Sunday, we should be able to transport your children to school from Monday to Friday. Do we have that? Of course, no.
So, Babashu,
yes,
there's an interesting segment where we are going to discuss security in Nigeria, because for so many years you have spoken about, that sector and what must be done to ensure that Nigerians.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Government.
Yeah.
Do these things that church are even trying. They're trying to.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, I asked you this question earlier off camera.
yes.
And then I have two questions.
Yes.
First of all, what's your faith?
My faith?
What
do I
are you
worship?
Are you a Christian, Muslim, African traditionalist?
I don't believe in organized religion.
So what do you believe in?
I'm a spiritual being.
Like, do you worship something, Sha?
I don't have to worship anything, because religion itself is born out of worshiping and not worshiping things. You see, people who don't believe in God are also religious. You get my point? Their religion is called atheism, agnosticism. They don't believe in God. So I don't want a point where I'm bothered about that definition. But I know that if God exists in some corner in the clouds or underneath the earth, right? I don't think he needs me to worship him. That has to be a weak God. If he needs me to be clapping so that he can feel good. I don't need my children to clap for me. Why would God need me? He created the world. You also said it in your Bible and your religious books that if nobody worships God, he can convert stones to worship him. Yes, that, he can ask the dolphins to be singing for him. He created the world. And the thing to understand about religion is this deferred notion, or the notion that your betterment is deferred elsewhere. I have challenged religious people, and they can never answer this. Where was God staying before he created heaven and earth?
He was hovering, above the water.
He was a Leviathan. Hovering, he didn't.
Which water?
And which
That's what
water?
they wrote in Genesis.
Yeah. So which water? Is it the Atlantic Ocean or the
Before he created
Pacific?
the earth, so
Yeah.
the waters were where?
Where?
No, but the issue is we are not going to agree.
She asked
No,
No,
me,
we are all
waters
not.
were where?
We will have a long debate. No,
Yeah?
Water where?
see, we will have.
See,
But at
hold
the
on,
priest,
let me tell you
we
something.
will not agree because
No,
we don't
I
share
want
the
to-
same.
I want to share something with Omoyele Sowore.
Yes.
Somebody challenged me once, a Christian, and said the theory of evolution and the Big Bang theory, and was punching out faults in it.
It's Big Bang, Charles Darwin. There's Charles Darwin.
Charles Darwin is evolution and natural
Mhm.
selection, and he was punching holes in it, blah, 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 blah. And when he was done, he said, this shows that there is God. I said, okay, you can say there is God. But do you want to really bring up Genesis as an argument against evolution and the Big Bang theory? Really? God created the sun and the moon 4 days after he created night and day. As in, that's the account that we're going to sit down with and say, this is how the world was created. Come on, man.
No, that if you are using, see, we will never agree. Baba Show.
The point, I think nobody should run away from a scientific conversation about whether God exists
Is
or
science
not.
bigger than God?
Science has never failed to explain to us things that are scientific. You see, the reason most people believe there is God is that they don't know whether it's God or not. But they just have to believe that there's something that is controlling the universe. But let me tell you, if you fly on an aeroplane, the moment you get to 1,000 feet above ground, you don't see human beings anymore. You don't even see bicycles. Everything is, and you haven't even gone to the space. None of us have been to the space. In the space, the Earth is just one of the several planetary bodies, just like we see the moon. So the question you should ask yourself is that, so human beings, because of this,
Billions of solar systems.
yes,
It can be planets.
Yes.
No, they know what planets are. There
No,
are
yes.
8 planets in our solar
so,
system.
no,
That's
it's been detected by telescopes that some of the stars that are far from you are bigger than
The Earth.
the Earth. So, and there are billions of them in the galaxy Milky Way. And you've never been there before, you probably never get to it.
ever.
So, and one of the things science taught us is that some of it is what they are using to scare you. Religion also has, one of its powerful tools is fear. Just use fear to control you. Is that, for instance, as a geographer, I know that the world rotates on its axis. And it must rotate to the point that if it's faster, we will die. If it's slower, we will freeze to death, we will burn to death. So those things are scientific. That has been studied. There was a time before after the Bible was written that they would discover that the earth is not flat.
spherical.
Yes, it's round because of what scientists did. But what man has done is that whatever men or women or human beings cannot explain, they ascribe to a more powerful force.
But why do you think bad things happen?
You see, that exactly is why you should question the idea of God. But why does he allow bad things to happen?
Isaiah 45,
Yeah.
7.
Why?
I created both the good and the evil.
Yes. So the bad things happen because even as human beings, we are a minute part of the earth. So as the earth is rotating, it doesn't care about you. We feel important because
Hey, someone has said that to me.
yes, the earth doesn't care about you. The earth is rotating. The earth has its own mechanics, It has its own electrical systems. So as it's rotating, bad things will happen to you because you don't own the earth. The earth owns you. You are just an occupant. You are not different from an ant in the eyes of the earth. Are you getting my point? There are several animals, plants that have gone extinct, over 4,000 of them that is known. Some also have come back. You don't know where they come back from. And that is what you ascribe to God.
Do you believe in reincarnation?
No.
Because you said come back.
No, the only reincarnation I believe in is what I talked about yesterday. Of all the research that's been done about life and death, the one that is most genuine and scientific is that we have cosmic particles in our body. And the explanation is that we have come from the stars. And I've said it, when you die and I die, which is going to happen whether we like it or not, you are going to become matter. The first part is that the air you breathe will escape into the atmosphere. And then the next is that your body becomes a little bit solid until then you become, liquid. You will decay. And then your bones will become solid. That is solid state matter. But as for me, I think I will escape back to the cosmic. And every night you can come out and just look up to me because I'll be a star.
An ancestor.
No,
Would that be?
I don't want to do ancestors' work after all this. I've already done enough.
So you don't believe in reincarnation?
No, I don't think there's reincarnation to the extent that somebody died and is opening doors because, your door was not properly fixed and the wind is blowing it. You say it's your grandfather that is opening it.
No.
The moment we die, see, that is exactly the theory of the end of the world. The world will end, but it's not going to end according to what they taught you. The world ends the day you die. That's the end of the world.
Because, some people would argue with you and say that, like, for example, I've heard several stories of people, maybe that their grandfathers died and they had probably like a mark, a very obvious mark, and then
They come back. Yetunde, Babatunde.
Yeah, like a grandchild now comes back and has that same mark at the exact place.
But
so how would you explain that?
This very simple explanation for that is genetics.
No, some are some are wounds.
Why do you think you look like why do you think you look like your mom or your dad?
No, I'm not saying
genetics.
Sorry, maybe I'm not being understood. I'm not saying I'm not saying features.
No.
Features could be how my mom's shape is or how my grandmother's shape was. I'm saying scars.
Yes.
People have had scars. Maybe some people have their grandfather that went to war and maybe had like 4 fingers, and then there's a grandson that comes back and he has only 4 fingers.
Because we come from genetics, we're genes, we have, So why is it that if your family has a certain history, it reflects on you? There are families that have, heart diseases, families have diabetes, and it goes on and on till several generations. Because everybody has a genetic tree where we come from.
Are you saying that for scars as well?
No. Yeah, wait now. See, somebody can have scars that are referred to as birthmarks. Somebody had told me before that there was a guy who died of an accident in our place, and when his brother's wife had a child, that part where he had injury came out. Is he the one who slept with his brother's wife? There's a lot of these things are also urban legends. And people will just tell you. I was in the village because I didn't leave the village until I was about 16 years old, and we're told that somebody saw somebody who died in a village in Lagos, and the man did not stop. They started saying, but I know you in the village. And then they called the village and they said the person has died. And he said, I saw him in Lagos. So it's urban legends because we like to promote stories just like we tell fables, in the village. We like to promote stories that make us, we like myth. Human beings love myth. Am I totally disputing the theory that some people might have bad scars that shows that maybe their grandmother was there? But when you follow the story properly, you can explain scientifically why there's a part of their body that is scarred, Otherwise, everybody would have been born a certain way based on how their grandfather looked or their grandmother looked. I did not see my grandfather. I didn't meet him. I never recognized him. This is what tells me I look like my grandfather. I don't know him. So I will believe you because you are the person who saw him. You get my point?
And that's exactly what I was trying to tell her. Eyewitness account is the worst form of evidence.
Of course.
Really?
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Really?
It's the worst form of evidence. You can't compare it to. It's not empirical.
Yes.
I saw it. How biased is that person? They are what you call cognitive biases.
Mm-hmm.
When someone has a cognitive bias, his experience will be twisted. A Muslim, a Christian, and a pagan viewing the same thing will have three different accounts.
Yes.
All right, Babashu.
Yes.
Very interesting segment that we would want you to also be a part of because, for years you have spoken about security.
Yes.
But before we go to that segment, 2 questions, direct answer. Will you run in 2027 for the office of president?
The election primaries are coming up in May.
Mm-hmm.
We have a political party. Of course, I'm running.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, do you trust the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct credible elections in 2027?
Of course, I don't.
All right, let's
Yes.
hold it there.
Yes.
So this very segment is very important. You will hear the story of somebody who swore to serve our great country, Nigeria, and just pay attention. You will love it. In the history of our great country, Nigeria, there are examples of patriots that have given their all for our nation. If we look at our country, you don't get any sacrifice when pass say you sign, say you go defend the corporate existence and territorial integrity of this country to the point where you feel lay down your life. You're going to hear the story of a Nigerian who has seen it all. And from him mouth, I go hear now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome ex-Lance Corporal Rotimi Olamilekan. Soldier boy, hero president. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So now you go tell us your story. Who be ex-Lance Corporal Rotimi Olamilekan?
So, na me sit down for our front, so na me be the ex-Lance Corporal Rotimi, popularly known as Soldier Boy.
This ex when come enter the front. Wetin happen before the ex enter? Make we start with that Lance Corporal Rotimi Olamilekan.
And the reason why the ex enter na concerning the video where I talk about the politicians, talk about the governors, the minister and the local government chairman, because I know say there plenty well. So and inside that video I talk say make them bring their son to join the Nigerian army. So now why I make that video, and I know say if they bring their son to join the Nigerian army, at least things will be able to a little bit at least calm down. Things will calm down. Concerning things wey be say they happen for the northeast self, a lot of things self.
Okay, before we go talk about the things when they happen, we'll go back to the very beginning. How you take join the Nigerian army?
Yes, as an hustler, so now Ogun State me I dey stay, so I dey stay Oshagam. So before I collected the Nigerian army form, so and I go back to my state, which is Ondo State. So from there I got enlisted to the Nigerian army.
So what was the process like? You just dey house for Ogun that time, you dey work, you can't go your state. Say that somebody tell you say the army form don't dey come collect you pay money to collect.
You know, say before I come Ogun State, though I be barrack boy for Kebbi State.
Okay, now Kebbi you go.
Yes.
For inside barracks.
Yes, I stayed there like maybe let me say 4 years to 5 years as a barrack boy. I stay with one of my sister there. So now from there I get the knowledge of say maybe they collect army form or this before I come down to our area. And even before that last one, I collect like 2 times. It was the third one I make them come pick me.
So you don't collect 2 times when they no pick you.
When they no pick me, yes. So now the third one where I can't collect, now I come make them come carry me.
So when they pick you, how did it take happen? Your training, everything. Just tell us that process, sharp.
So waiting they happen, we say I dey Ogun State because me I don't talk say I no dey collect the form again. So but my parents just insist say make I go join, so make I just at least find something to do. So from there I go to my state, we go to this zonal screening of a thing, run, do a lot of things, medical. So from there they pick me. So as they pick me, the next day they carry us go Kaduna, which is Zaria, for our training. So as we finish the training,
How the training be?
The training no be something we be say I fit even wish my enemy to go do sef.
To train to become soldier, no be wetin you go wish well. Wetin dem dey do now?
A lot of things now, no be say dem dey feed you well, no be say you dey chop well. A lot dey happen.
No be say dem dey feed you well as how. You wan become soldier, dem no feed you well.
You know say the food,
which kind of food dem dey give you?
The food wey dem dey give for that place no be normal food wey be say dem fit give person wey be say e dey on im own, e go collect. Even people, beggars wey be say dem dey street sef, you no go offer them that kind of food wey be say dem go dey happy, say dem wan.
And dem still expect make you fight for Nigeria.
And dem go,
No, but that food wey dem dey give una na part of training, say make you rugged so that when you dey inside Sambisa forest, you fit chop anything.
Oga, no be to me o, I just believe say na so the army dey. Because even for Maiduguri where I dey, the food wey dem dey give, so even me myself, I no dey chop am.
As a soldier of Nigeria.
I no dey chop am.
Which kind of food?
All this draw, just make some kind of soup, egusi. If you be say the egusi, they no grind am well, all this kind of thing. Give you some kind of food. We be say most soldiers wey dey, we be say maybe they feed them. They always buy their own gas, their own pots, different. Most of the soldiers, they don't dey chop now. Dash that they dash people.
So, what was your salary? What was your monthly salary as a soldier before you left?
My monthly salary, though they increased the salary last year.
No, just tell us the last
amount was just 111,000 or 9,000.
What?
That's less than $100.
Yes.
That was what that they increased it.
That was after they increased it.
Before it was 70,000.
Wow.
Minimum wage.
Before it was 70,000, so from that even the 70,000 save now the 20,000 extra 20,000 where they add now 51,000 be the normal salary with the entire account.
As a soldier. As a soldier.
You're going to die for Nigeria for less than $100 a month.
Wait, you say now 51,000 they enter your account, but they can't add 20,000.
Yeah, they call them scarcity.
Sorry guys, because can you just rephrase it as a soldier? So you can be proper
As a soldier.
Okay, as a soldier, your salary now let me see.
My salary, you're talking about your
Okay, should I talk about the former one? Or?
Yeah, start with the former one.
Okay, as a soldier, like presently now, they pay me the last salary where I collect for army now 109,000, 111,000. But before that, it was just last year February where they increased the salary. Before now 51,000. So attached with the scarcity where they paid 20,000 naira, so making 70,000 naira before. So it was February last year that they just increased it to that.
And how were you surviving on 71,000 naira?
That's less than minimum wage.
The suffer no be small because me if no be saying at the TikTok I dey do small I dey use TikTok na TikTok me I dey use push. So I inside that TikTok say anything what I still get I still dey share am with my colleagues based on say me I understand the feelings and I understand wetin we dey gather pass through.
So you dey sponsor yourself go fight for America, for Nigeria?
Me I go talk say na like that too because na me dey do most of the things. No be say apart from the salary, nothing more. Nothing dey enter for you as a soldier.
What about uniform? Did they give you uniform?
No. They no dey give uniform. Now soldier, ask any soldier.
So how you dey take get your uniform?
We dey buy am.
How much is the uniform?
The uniform is about 55,000.
More than your salary.
Yes. And so now you go buy uniform, now you go buy boots, now you go buy anything.
How much be the boots?
The boots, sometimes 60K for.
I think say again.
What about armor? Like armor, bulletproof vest, your armor hats, helmets, yes.
And helmet. All those ones they give.
You buy it yourself as well.
I swear, nobody go give you.
So you dey buy bulletproof helmet
I swear.
This is not a
If
country.
you see, say maybe soldier wear that thing, maybe maybe they get one kind all this big visitor, maybe governor, they won't go one occasion, maybe say governor go see them. If you just go pack one,
I
come,
service.
say no na, that kind of thing. Now waiting that they do. No be say maybe
So you
that they
get
give you no.
Sambisa without bulletproof, unless you buy.
Nobody go give you now if you no buy am.
So the only thing you get is that gun and some bullets.
Yes, now.
Do they give you enough bullets?
Sometimes you go complain, tire, so go complain.
Like how many magazines do you have
I only
for?
have 2 magazines for me.
And how many bullets fits into the magazine? I'm not giving out security information.
Yes, the one magazine is just 13 rounds, and if you have 2 magazines, that's 60 rounds.
And you are expected to fight terrorists.
Yes, you are expected to fight terrorists with it now.
Okay, take us through your assignments.
Maybe you are your own soldier. Let's just
No, wait.
What was your rank?
I'm last
It's
corporal.
last corporal. That's
Last
the beginning rank of Nigerian
Take
Army.
us through the process. After you finish training, when you can join army, how the movement can start from there. Where they post you, tell us the places where they post you and how many years you spend and what you they do.
Now, as at now, let me say I don't already the clock 8 years in service, and since that 8 years, I don't think I don't stay barrack for 1 year completely. So as we finish training, they carry me go my unit, which is called the mother unit, Taraba. So from there, we just do cadre course 3 months. They carry me go Sanfara, from Sanfara to Castina. So Castina back to Sanfara again. They brought me back to unit. That unit, I not spent 6 months. They moved me to Jaji. From Jaji, they carry me come Meduguri.
Chai.
So that Meduguri now, I don't spend about 4 years, 9 months now for Meduguri. And they tell us, say, yes, now 2 years, now you go use.
Before they rotate you.
Before they go rotate you. So me, I don't do double year. I don't they do the third, this thing again.
Into your 5th year, let's
Into
say.
my hair. So 50 years, almost 5 years. Where I don't spend for Meduguri.
So tell us the things when your eyes see for Maiduguri, because for the video you talk say your friends and just wetin be the things where your eyes see
A
for
lot,
Maiduguri?
because you get one incident wey happen like that. We touch me well. So that guy na my mate. It's called Promise. So within just 2 months when we get to that location, we lost that guy inside this say location where you go dey. Una go dey expect make Boko Haram come. Or in case maybe Boko Haram wan enter that village, now just dey like bulletproof to the villagers. You understand? Like as I be soldier now,
Yes.
as you ask me about the element and all these fragments, now the element and the fragment I wanna be to the villagers. Because if anything they
There was like a buffer between them. Yes.
So if anything they happen, now you go first meet.
Without bulletproof. So.
Who won't give you now? Who won't give you? So before you go get before they go feel penetrate inside the village. So through that, they kill one of my mates, which is called Promise. They kill him. So even that it should pay me so much. Sometimes they will come pursue soldiers of trench. They'll pursue Boko Haram they'll pursue soldiers.
For the trenches where una
For the trenches where would they
go come pursue una.
They go pursue not be only that one small now. What of dislodge? Pursue all soldiers come up for the location. You don't go see any soldiers.
Boko Haram go come pursue.
If they
How
pursue
they
una,
do am?
sorry, if they pursue una, they will come dead here.
If they pursue Boko Haram, sometimes they did that location, they go mount the location. Now not go fit collect them back. Except maybe they get some reinforcements again. Maybe say they come fight that battle to pursue them.
So another question is, we always say about area cover. Do you get adequate area cover? Does the Nigerian Air Force come and help you dislodge, or all those things is just propaganda?
No, to me, since I did fight, I never see
Jets.
jets. Me come help us. I swear to God. Because anything with me, I dey talk. I know
Of
they say
course.
I dey talk and because of her hand. So, but anything, me, I never ever fight for once.
Make Jet come provide area cover for you.
Jet come there, come pursue. I never see that one.
I
Never
want
see am.
to ask you a question. It gets one time where one of the big wigs in Nigerian army, big soldier, where we say they kill him, they call for cover. So you feel say some of una or gas that time. they really no get on an interest at heart. Now them they scatter things. If you say then they work with these people when they fight with.
Please come again with that your question.
So you get one story of one of on a general when the battlefield.
Yes.
Where we say when the Boko Haram people or terrorist people they come, you can't they call. You don't dey for place when they safe. Where we say nobody go see them. You can't they call for help. Yeah?
Yes.
You don't tell them where in dey. Na in the terrorists come meet am there. Cut in head come out. Waiting I want ask be say, you think say he get some of una big ogas when they office where we say them and the terrorists they hand in hand they work.
So wetin me I go fit talk concerning this issue be say, you know say that issue I see the matter for online, and but wetin me I go fit talk be say I no go fit tell you say e get one person wey dey work with them and be like this, but how the message wey dem, you know say the message im send am for person, so definitely something is fishing. Because
I also want
for the message to, you know, to come out and people to know that kind of, because I know say no be saying na Boko Haram in call now,
now
and so
he
call office, so there's definitely something is fishing.
What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, that particular situation is very, very strange, considering that the guy was a brigadier general. And the brigadier general in the army is supposed to command at least 5,000 soldiers. How did the guy end up all alone to the point that his 5,000 soldiers were scattered and he was captured just like a chicken? And the investigation that I saw was done was that he was sending WhatsApp messages to, he even did a video call to people and say, this is my location. And instead of the Nigerian army to go to the location and rescue him, it was Boko Haram that came here. So somebody must have given him away, his location away, and said, look, this guy was so location. The other part that is still strange to tomorrow is that they haven't been able to tell us if they recovered his body.
Oh, it was just his head.
We don't even know if they recovered the head. It just went mute. Just like nobody has ever told us till today, when America came to bomb Sokoto, what happened there. The Nigerian army has never spoken about it. We don't have any videos, whether the bomb killed anybody or it just fell in the wrong place like it did in Kwara State. So part of the problem is that there's no accountability from the top. And there's massive corruption. The biggest problem with the armed forces is, of course, leadership. And then there's corruption. If you go to Abuja, some of the biggest estates are owned by these army generals. And they get the money from war. So generally, they don't want the war to end because it's a source of wealth. You know, these guys, sorry, and I love what you did in calling on them to send their children to join the army. That's the standard thing to do, even in advanced countries. Even the royal family must go and serve in the armed forces. Now, even in the US, people are calling for Donald Trump's son, to go and fight in Iran so that they will know what war looks like. So I love what you did, and I'm sure your voice was amplified on Sahara Reporters. So I think the video you did was amplified. And I love your courage just to say, I'm happy to meet you. I respect what you did. We need more people like you. And we must continue, Nigerians, to protect people like this. You know, what he has told you that you didn't pick here is that technology was central to his survival. He was doing TikTok videos as a means of generating funding and it's helping his colleague. Whereas Nigeria is making millions, and especially since the Iran war started, prices of crude has gone to about 113 dollars per barrel. Nobody is talking about how that money is going to be spent to support soldiers who are dying. It just looks like you guys are the people they call Sufayo in Nigeria. Just put you, if you die, you die. If you don't die, you know. But the lesson to learn there, for those of you who are in the armed forces, is that when people rise against the government, you're also the people they send to go and kill peaceful protesters. You are the ones protecting their family. You are the ones going to their children's school to protect them. But you have not thought about it, that you can also protect the people or support them when there's an uprising. And I know that they'll say that I'm calling for a military uprising in Nigeria. That's not what I'm calling for. I'm saying that if you're in the military, you're in the police, because I fought for police in 2025, and they send you to go and kill people who are protesting to make the country better, don't shoot at them.
All right, Soldier Boy, I
I
get
want
two
to
questions.
ask him something. When you shot that video, what now happened? Just take us through
Your experience.
And when the video was last year, when I do the video, even myself, I don't know, say, now out of frustration, the way people they sabotage the work, and way me I did inside the bush for over 4 years. So, and the way my colleagues they die every day by day, even though they tell me what I talk about, I say talk, wait till I want to talk. So I did that video last year. So this year, I did my location. That was February 10th. So on 11, so they now call me that my CO is looking for me, my commanding officer. So before you know, so I go to our headquarters, which is battalion, because I'm under battalion. And that battalion, in that same location, we still have another brigade, because battalion is always under brigade. So my CO now use his own personal vehicle. I was like, what have I done? So he can't use his own motor carry me go our brigade. Say that they look for me for brigade. So as I reach brigade, I was like, wait till I do this one where they find me. I don't buy job. So as I reach the call chief of staff we did there, which is Colonel Sonny. So now so him come, he say, now the soldier be this. I say, yes, sir. He say, me then disarm me. I swear to God. I say me they disarm me. This thing they shock me like, wait till I do. I don't commit. So they collect my weapon. So after that, they can't call the MP. Say me the MP may handcuff me.
That's the military police.
Yeah, the military police. So he called the military police to handcuff me both leg and hand. So immediately I found the fear, say, what I do? I don't go put on for waiting, because I just imagine, say, what I do? So now so they go keep me inside guard room, inside that bush, they keep me inside guard room there. So I can't beg the man, say, I beg, make him help me even try find out what I do. So till the next day, now so I sleep with handcuff for hand and leg till the next day. So the next morning, so I don't know, say they don't prepare to carry me go Meduguri, because I already mentioned saying inside bush we dey. So the 7 diff they inside town. So now the other one they tell me say, say na social media, say they say I value social media, say they talk about. I say okay, if na that one. So I reach 7 diff, they carry me go the military police guard room there also. I spent like 5 days.
Still with the handcuff and leg.
Of course, yeah, that's how they operate. Yeah.
So they took me, they now book flight for me. They
You
carry
dey
me
chop
go
when
Abuja.
you did the handcuff and leg, you did
I
the
dey
chop.
chop now, but
With the handcuff on.
With the handcuff.
Yeah.
And even say people come dey run for me, once they don't see say MP don't carry like that, everybody go dey comot their hand, say maybe you don't go. So they come book flight for me, carry me go Abuja
with handcuff.
with the handcuff. Even inside flight, say people dey talk, say, why they go handcuff me like this? Me, I dey open mouth, they tell them say, Oga, na social media on because say I talk. Me, they no come dey look me like say maybe na
You
crazy.
be some, yeah, or you be terrorist.
I come tell them say, Oga, na social media I talk. I just talk about politician. This thing, I dey carry me. Because they say make I know where I dey pray. So now so with the pass, the guy where they join me with say make carry me go the headquarters for the military police headquarters for Abuja. The guy they try the say make I dey hide there. I say, Oga, I no go hide this handcuff. Maybe they see am say yes, na carry me because of the social media. So because I don't know if he.
So you were put on a civilian flight.
Yes, they put me on a civilian flight. This value jets.
Yes.
Now value jets carry me. So from there, they carry us come Abuja. So as I reach Abuja with the handcuff, they hand over me. They can't see me carry statement that day. But unfortunately, time don't go. They can't see me, they go lock me. They still lock me up for SIB for Abuja. So as they lock me, the next day they bring me, they say make I write statement, say I make some video, waiting. So I write waiting, I know. I tell them, say yes, now me do the video. And I do the video out of frustration, out of waiting my colleague again. So to my own surprise, they say, the fellow soldier wey be say me and they try, they speak on their behalf, say, okay, see waiting they happen. Because I know say if politicians, they bring their pikin, come join army, I know say the country self go better.
Mm-hmm.
And even the security matter, what we dey talk about self, the thing go reduce.
Yes.
If the politician feel
No, because
picking,
they'll be forced to provide you weapons
because
and armor.
most of things wey be say we need, they go provide them. So as I talk that matter, they come tell me saying, why me I go talk like that? I say, talk. Now the fellow soldier will be say they won't do my investigation, and then still the wicked me again. They started going into my phone, searching some videos, even the video where I dey do charity, where I do video on top, they still charge me on top that video. If I can't use like a month, I use 1 month fully there. So from inside the detention
with handcuffs and leg cuffs.
With handcuffs. If I get chance sometime, maybe I feel just pretend. I even sick inside that place. When I sick, when doctor won't treat me, doctor they ask me say, "Shey I get money?"
Yeah.
Inside detention, yeah, the doctor they ask me say, "Shey me I get money?" I tell them say I no get money. They can't return me back. I don't know say now I can't go help me if I say, "To make I feel use my phone do transfer." Now me still buy injection and drugs for myself inside that detention when I did there.
Sure, you have to be president. Continue.
I swear.
Yeah,
so when they carry me, I think say maybe the matter don't finish. They come carry me go airport. I just see they carry one file. I don't know what's in the file me, but me I just say maybe na the report of my case. So they return me back to 7 diff MP guard room, military police guard room.
In Maiduguri?
In Maiduguri, they return me there. So after that, me I think say maybe as I don't reach there, they supposed to release me, make I dey go back to my location, whatever charge I'm supposed to be charged. So they go charge them and go face the order. So me I can't see the reason, say why these people still they owe me for detention. I don't know, say they get their home plan already. So as they return me back to location, but now so they carry me again with handcuff. They put handcuff on my hand, put handcuff on my leg, put me inside guard room again. I swear to God. So I can't still spend like 5 days or 4 days for that place. The next day, the man just come. The MP OC come. He can't bring one charge sheet. Can't bring my charge. Say, make I prepare for my order tomorrow. So I can't check the charge. I see now 4 can charge they give me. This 4 can charge, 2 not the same. 2 not the same. It can't be 1. Just be like 2 now.
Like now. That's how they design criminal charges.
They do the charge into 4 places. Disobedient to standing order 2. How am I go charge me disobedient to standing order for 2 places? When I charge me for conduct to prejudice service discipline. 2, because I talk about politics.
And you were never given an opportunity to defend yourself, even with a military lawyer.
They're not now when they court martial you, when maybe you get all this kind of this thing, when they court martial you now, when you go get the opportunity, but as far as them won't do that order, they charge you say maybe you go the order, you don't get anybody with you speak for. Even as the man they talk, you don't go fit talk anything. Now you go just tell quitting they won't do you. So before you know, as they carry me go the order, they can't say okay, me I prepare. They carry me go the order. As they carry me reach the order, the guy just talk, blah blah blah. My first offense give me 14 days IHL. Second one give me 28 days IHL. So the third one,
what's in the IHL?
It's called punishment. Punishment with hard labor. We say you go inside bar, but they lock you. They go lock you inside guard room.
Okay, IHL, maybe incarceration with hard labor.
Yeah, I think so.
You go dey inside guard room. You go come out, they do work, and you usually do fatigue till that day.
What fatigue? What do you mean?
And maybe cutting grass.
Hard labor now.
Cutting grass. Now I'm literally like they call them fatigue.
You go dey cut grass.
You go cut grass. You go cut grass. Pick anything. Pick dirty around the everywhere. So the first one 14 days IHL. The second one 28 days IHL. So the third one I can't come on my rank. That Lance Corporal. So he can't come out and they demote me to private soldier. So the last one they can't use dismiss me. So now those and I saw the matter as even when they still dismiss me, we be say as they video me, command their uniform for my body, where they still supposed to allow me make I dey go. They still go keep me inside the guard room safe. I still sleep the next day again. They can't still carry me go 7 diff again. After the dismiss, they still carry me go 7 diff again. At 7 diff, now then they can't release me, so make I dey go.
How much did they pay you as severance fee?
As I know
as you go, they give you the package.
They don't give me anything. No.
After your 8 years.
After the 8 years where I don't serve, they don't give me shishi. 8 years in service, and I spent 4 years 9 months in Maiduguri. They don't give me shishi.
But did you know that you have recourse to get redress in court, in industrial court? Did you try that?
Me, I know.
You don't know about that?
I don't know, and I don't sabi person. I don't know anybody.
Well, we'll take that up, hopefully, from here.
But I also want to ask,
Thank you, sir.
because you they very vocal, you they talk like you say. You know the fear. You know the fear say they fit buy you.
As far as truth I dey talk now, no be say maybe I lie against somebody, and if at all, at least make dem do the proper investigation concerning maybe wetin I talk, and they will see the fact there. No be say maybe I talk against person, abi wetin person no do, I can't talk am.
But because you they call them out, you they go interview, you go like his life, you don't go many places to talk.
Na wetin dem
Yes.
do now?
So you no think say they go think say you just dey open your mouth dey talk.
And na dem say
them
dem no want me for the service, and concerning wetin you talk sef, na still the same thing with the video wey I make now. Na the truth, so dem no like the truth, so na make dem just pursue me comot for the work. So, and as far dem no want the truth, wey I don already dey on my own freedom now, so I fit talk.
Okay.
So I fit talk.
What about people when they make the argument say the army get rules, and as a military personnel you suppose obey command? If the command now say you no suppose involve yourself for things when army fit talk say e be like say na politics and social media then they regulate the use, you think say if you look am you too get fault inside?
My oga, I know, to me, I no see say I get any fault, because in that video I no get any fault, because number one, I no use uniform. Dem dey just talk say yes, once you no use uniform, they no get issue with you. But to my surprise, it's just that yes, I was arrested for the video because I no use uniform.
But do you regret, if you look back now,
Yes.
you dey regret say see the kind situation, see the kind country, if to say I know I for no do this, you dey regret?
I no regret because why I no regret be say I know say I speak so many people mind. Even in the military, there are still a lot of people that they want to talk, but this same issue wey happen to me, na im make some people sef dey fear. Even some people wan worse pass this one. We still have like 2 people wey be say they talk about the presidency. They are still inside the detention up till now.
Do you know their names?
Like Babiaski and Sussex.
They made a video
2 of them,
talking
yes.
about the president.
Sussex talk about saying the president, why is he giving the female footballer money, and why is he not paying soldiers well? They arrest that guy. That guy don spend like 7 months. I'm telling you, inside that detection. The second one, Babiasi, he talk about saying why the killings is too much like this. Shey we no get president. Is this president still alive? Now wetin the guy talk.
When they detain them, you know where they detain them?
Yes, I know where they did. Now the same place.
7 Div.
Yes, no, be 7 Div. This Abuja SIB.
Okay, you
Okay,
get
you
wetin
wan
you
ask
talk. Wait,
him.
I dey come. You get wetin you talk.
Show one put mouth.
No, before you put mouth, you get wetin you talk. You say una dey even dey beg una commanders. Una dey beg them say you get things wey no dey right o, make una do this, make una do that. You fit give us 1 or 2 example of where that kind thing happen and wetin exactly una ask for?
The issue is that you see in army, they always say your senior is always right to their own language, no be to me. And if you talk, even if you talk on your right, say they know say you know your right, they will talk say make they go lock you for bedroom. Even for our food, wey be say I talk about, if you complain about food now, talk say this food is not this thing, they go find you. Even if you no do am directly, they will come dey find way wey be say they go dey send some soldiers, so be say they
To implicate you.
they go dey follow you up. If you do small thing,
How many times una dey chop a day?
na 3 times that they bring food.
Breakfast na around what time?
Yes, no, breakfast na normal time wey they bring food, na they bring food.
Wetin be like breakfast for a Nigerian soldier? Wetin be breakfast?
Sometimes it be akamu, sometimes it be mai, sometimes it be bread and tea. So on like that.
You know, so when you been do the video, you do to help your other soldiers, speak up. Since you get voice for TikTok, you use a help speak up for them. Those people where you speak up for, do you think they are worth it? You think say they really worth that risk where you take?
And the fact is that they worth it, but some no worth am. Some no worth am. Why I say some no worth am be say inside this situation when they arrest me, I dey inside gathering be say some of them self, upon say they know the main issue that brought me to that detention, they still keep acting to me like maybe I've committed, maybe I've raped or I've steal. You don't understand. Some of them they run, they avoid me.
Baba Sowore, a soldier, a Nigerian soldier, given what he told us, his last salary, 109,000, 111,000. Somebody who is supposed to protect the corporate existence and territorial integrity of this country that earns that amount. Do we expect optimum performance from such a person?
Never. And in 2023, my prescription for minimum wage for soldiers, security officers, and teachers in particular is 250,000 starting salary. I even think that is unfair. And it's a fact that that is even less than $200 a month. But considering our circumstances, they always claim financial, we can start paying them. We shouldn't be paying less than 500,000 naira minimum wage to a person who is going to sacrifice his life, and that you provide them with armor, provide them with enough, ammunition, and you give them life insurance in case they die. Their families can cash out. They can cash that check, and also when people leave the army, they should be able to get some incentive to go back to school or start a business, These are things that should happen to soldiers. If you know how much these guys take home, an average senator in Nigeria is earning 30 million naira per month. Yes. What that means is that this soldier who is earning 70, let's say 100,000 naira a month, he will need to work for almost 40 years to get the salary of a senator in Nigeria. This is not, I didn't make this up. And you have not added to the incentives they get. If you're a member of certain committees, in the upstream or downstream, whichever stream they do, they still get money. Anybody who goes to the Nigerian Senate to ask for approval of their budget, they must collect money from, extort. That's why these guys, I'm telling you, this country has to revolt against this order. There's no other way out of the situation we found ourselves now. And you have heard the story. If I was the one who told you this story, you say, oh man, Sowore has come again. But this is a soldier who has been risking his life for the country so that we don't lose our territory to terrorists. They get sacked, they get killed, nothing happened to them. He has not told you that there are soldiers who cannot even find enough money to transport themselves back from Maiduguri whenever they are given a pass. They don't have enough money to transport themselves to come and visit their families because they have to fend for themselves. They don't have hospitals for them. They don't have schools for their children. They just treat these guys as slaves in this country. And we all have a right to reject that. That's why I said I align with him that every politician should send their child to go and fight. And you see that before you know it, they'll start providing, the basic needs. They will ensure that their children don't die. I remember when I was still covering Boko Haram a lot, and they shot Obasanjo's son in the buttock. Immediately, he was given the best treatment because his father was, of course, on the phone with all the authorities in charge. But when you hear that they shoot other soldiers, sometimes you've seen the videos when they shoot soldiers, nothing happens. They don't even have tourniquet to tie the injuries that are inflicted on them by terrorists. But if you know what the senior army generals are making from these wars, you will